All right, is my mic on? Turn my headphones up. What's going on? Mike's hot. Mike's hot. What's up? Let me know. Let me know. All right, how's everybody doing? All right, let me see. Okay. Now, okay, sounds good. Fantastic. All right. Um, well, let me see. Where's this Jaren guy at? He's getting logged in. All right. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in to episode 2 of Talking FE with D. It's funny. Um, just like to thank everybody for coming out. I'll be hopping in the chat real quick to say hi to everybody. Got this terrible glare on my forehead. Hold on. Let me try to fix that. All right. All right. Audio's good. Let's add some moderators. Um, Carly, you're good. Melissa gets a wrench. But yeah, Jaron and I, we were on the just on Skype back and forth earlier. Just kind of talking back and forth. We've been back and forth a few days. I actually haven't had a chance to talk to Jaron, so this is going to be kind of a just kind of a freestyle session. We got a few topics we're going to try to cover this evening. I'll just continue, running my mouth and using this time to say hello. Hey, cut that out, Ace. I see. I'm saying third eye shine. I got you. All good. All good. All right. I can't hear anything. All right. All right. Waiting for my man to show up. But it's been a interesting time here in the community as of late, trying to navigate everything that's going on. It's kind of a turbulent situation. Some of the things that have been going on, the drama, things like that. Um, hold on. Where is he at? One second. All right, so I'm back and forth in the chat with Jaron, waiting for him to hop on. Got a little apple juice and apple cider vinegar. Got a little itch in the back of my throat. But yeah, it's not going to be a whole lot of drama. We'll be discussing just talking about the conference and all that. Um, let me see. I was in there. Okay, Jaren's going to try to hop on again. I'm flying solo right now, so seriously, I do appreciate everybody coming through to show support because this is my second time. Shout out to Big Dread in the chat. I see you out there, bro. Let me see. Okay, I need to slow the chat down. I can't even see who's throwing. Okay, so let me see. Let me take care of this guy, and I'm gonna put you in timeout for a little bit. Oh, good. Somebody's throwing tomatoes at me. That's awesome. Wait, who did that? Gage. All right. Appreciate it, Gage. The donation. I really appreciate that, man. Um. Okay.
Am I
Gage,
on?
you
You
get
got
a
it?
wrench, but use it wisely, carefully. With great power comes great responsibility. All right. I think I hear something. Whoa. Hello.
Do you see me? Do you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Testing.
I got
1,
you.
2, 3, 4.
All right.
What's going on? D-Marble.
Audio's good, sir.
We've never
Jaron,
talked
how's it
before.
going, man?
Good, yourself?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. Welcome to the show.
Been a bit of a chaotic week, huh?
Not so much. Not so much. I was just trying to keep busy. I was working on a video.
I thought it was going to be a nice relaxing week before the conference, but what do you do? There's no sleep on Flat Earth, you know?
Yeah, Absolutely not. It's just things have been kind of ramping up lately as far as the tension. Things that community so good. Can you our viewers?
I lost you there. You're breaking up. Say it again.
Here, can you tell the viewers about yourself a little bit, about your channel and all that?
My name is Henry, and no, hold on a second. You are very muffled. Okay, 1 second.
So, I am.
David right. Said I am. 1 second. Let me see if I got the right settings on here.
Okay.
It's possible I don't.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's
okay.
I don't know. Tell me.
All right. Yeah, that sounds clean.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. That's perfect.
I can hear you better too. Yeah, my name's Jaron. I've been making videos since February 2015, and it's been a wild ride. I certainly didn't expect to be where I am today. But it's something I feel like I have to do now. It's every bit of research I'm doing is just uncovering more and more that this is the case. And I have to say at the beginning, I don't think that was the full-fledged belief. I had a pretty good idea and kind of wanted to find out one way or the other and really either be taught how the ball works or and get it changed the way it's taught in school, because I just couldn't understand why there was no evidence and why there was no proof, or to find out that we've been deceived. And as I've researched over 3 years, it's become crystal clear to me that there's just no way that what they're saying is true anymore. It just seems like it's a bunch of words. It's just another trick, another rich man's trick. It's any way they can get over on you, they're going to do it. And this is just another way. I'm sure those guys are sitting back just laughing, having a great old time at our expense. And it ain't right. We're all humans. We're all here. And so we can exist happily and everybody be fed and clothed and have housing. And it's not even a hard thing to do. We've got the wherewithal and the supplies. We've got everything you would need to keep everybody happy here. And so anybody who's causing that not to happen, in my opinion, is a problem. And it certainly looks like that's what they're doing. Is you just got the rich getting richer. You've got you've got the filthy rich. That's the problem. I'm not talking about Neil deGrasse, who's got $1 million, or somebody like that. Those people are not the problem. The problem is the owners of every bank, the owners of the corporations that are just enslaving us all, and even the government. I mean, even the governments are being basically bankrupt by these corporate overlords. I don't even think we know their names. Yeah, sure, we hear Rockefeller, Rothschild, but I'm sure that there's even people beyond that we just don't even hear about. And they use that money to control the actions of men, the path that governments take, the path that nations take, and they use these secret societies to kind of keep themselves in prominent positions. Anybody who's basically makes it up in the police force, like in the UK, or anybody who ends up on the bench here is in the courts in the United States. Seems like they're all part of this club, and they get rich, and they get rich and richer, and the further we go in debt, the more they make. So it just seems like it's the worst system ever devised. Maybe not for them, but certainly for the 99%. So as I've researched, I just I have no choice anymore but to keep speaking out. It's not, I don't want to say I would if I could go back to being asleep, but sometimes I think about that, and I kind of miss it a little bit, because this is not as easy as I think people think. I think a lot of people think it's just make videos and everything's good, but there's no money in it. There's no fame. It's a lot of hate. It's a lot of people who think that you should devote more time to, and it's hard for me because I want to get to everybody. I want to talk to everybody on Facebook. I want to answer every message on Twitter, and it's gotten to the point now where it's impossible. So it just feels like you're always catching up. I told my wife the other day, I was working like 70-hour weeks when I was a store manager for CVS, and just getting, and I thought that was crazy hours. It was just nonsense. I would work like 6 days a week, basically 5 a.m. till like 6 or 7 at night. And now I'm working 7 days a week. And basically, I mean, if I sleep 6 hours a day, that's a lot. So I went from working 70 hours a week to 130 hours a week. And I like it. I enjoy it because there's nothing better than finding the truth and basically learning for yourself the truth of where you live and the truth of why we're here, who we are. Because before it was simply believing what people said, and that's there's nothing shittier than that,
Right.
So
Right.
it's hard. I mean, I'm sure it's gotten hard for you. It doesn't start out that hard. It kind of starts out and maybe you can tell me if it's different for you, but when it started, it was fun. There was a lot of good quality people doing it, and it was interesting, and there was good videos, and then you start seeing your name, and every video's about you, or everybody's got a debunking video against you, and you want to respond to all those because you don't want somebody to see that and think you don't have a response to it. But then it becomes too much. It's just you couldn't get to everybody even if you wanted. Then there's people just telling blatant lies. I mean, I don't know about you. One of the things I can't stand more than anything is being accused of something I didn't do. And I don't know if it's just a personal thing, but it's like nothing gets me more like aggravated. And I had to deal with that my whole life. Obviously, everybody has to deal with that. But like just the other day, I don't know if you know who he is. His name's Sean Hufford. He's a friend of like Red's Rhetoric and those guys. They did a hangout, and somebody told me, "Hey, Slice Barcane, did a response video to you." So I went and watched it, and I'm just watching it, and right off the bat, this guy Sean Hufford says, "And did you hear that the Globebusters did a $25,000 ring laser gyro test?" And Slice Barcane says, "No, I didn't hear that." And he said, "Yeah, their subs gave them $25,000 crowdfunding, and they proved that the Earth spun when they did the test, and then they pocketed the $25,000 that they sold it on eBay so I don't know if people know what that's like to have somebody, and then you look at that video, it's got 2,800 views. So now that's somebody telling 2,800 people that I stole $25,000. And I mean, that's the kind of shit where you're like, I mean, how do you combat that? I mean, I shouldn't even have to deal with it. Yet those 2,800 people, and I can't go contact all them and say, "Hey, this guy just made that up out of the blue. It never happened. It's bullshit." So those kind of things are new to me. I'm not used to having to deal with that. I don't know how to deal with it. Half the people tell me just ignore it. The other half say, "Oh no, you got to respond." But then you start thinking, well, there's so much research I want to do. That's not research for me. Making a video where I'm responding to accusations. So I'm excited about the conference because I want to be around other people that are going through the same thing. But it's been difficult, but I'm not going to stop. They can put whatever they want in front of me, and until they kill me, they're going to have to deal with me. So that's why I see it.
Yep. I mean, that's pretty much the same course that we end up having to take either way.
Yeah,
because we find ourselves in these positions where we are kind of thrust into the spotlight, and we have to make a choice at some point. Either we're gonna just kind of quit, walk away, and just go try to just pack it up and live a normal life and not do what we do. But we're put in a position to where we kind of have if you want to say a calling or just a deep feeling, like you have this truth, you now have a wider range, you have a larger audience that you can reach. So it's kind of a responsibility at this point to just continue to spread the truth as best.
Absolutely.
That's exactly where you're at. And I'm pretty much the same way, as far as trying to get back to everybody, man. I've always said this. I'm always the guy that's going to get back to you. You send me a text message. If I see I missed a call from you, I'm going to call you back, or I'm going to text you back and reply. But now, man, I'm never going to get through my Facebook messages. I'm never going to get through all my Twitter messages. It's not going to happen.
Just says the 99+ on the top.
Yeah. It's been
trying
stuck there.
to get it under that number, but I can't do it.
Dude, I tried one day. I saw it say 99 plus, and I was on there for like an hour, and I got it back down to like 87, and then
That was
like
the
since
last you
then
ever
it's just
saw.
been
Yeah,
that was it.
been
You
well
know?
over if I ever saw it below that. No, I totally know what you're saying. And yeah, for me, because I quit my job, and it was because I was going to get fired and thought I was doing the right thing by quitting, which I guess I still got 14-year job history that, you know, if you called my employer, they would say I left on good terms. But when I quit my job in 2012, we started working from home, and then that's when we kind of started to realize some of these things. Well, we kind of realized it towards the end of 2013, and no, 2014. And when we realized it was it, and we started to come out with videos. It took about, I don't know, maybe 3 months until I started making videos after I would say I was a flat earther. And just to point that out to people, I hear a lot that it's a psyop. I hear a lot of people say it was a plant, released it. And I understand why people would think that. And I think if I was somebody who came into it and saw it from the outside, I might have that same opinion. But my wife and I came to that conclusion. I know for sure it was before Thanksgiving of the year before Mark Sargent came out with the clues in February, because we went to my mom's house. I remember us coming to the conclusion that we thought the earth was flat, and we were like, are we just losing our minds? Are we? And it kind of was a slow discovery, but we were really looking. We said we were going to erase everything, start from the beginning. And then we basically, my wife asked if I thought the earth could be flat. I told her she was crazy. And a couple weeks later, I saw the azimuthal equidistant map as I was looking for moon landing information. And when I saw that, it just was, I can still remember, it was like a light bulb, because for the first time I realized that planes could go around the earth and it not be a ball. And even when my wife asked me, I said, no, you're crazy. We've both flown around the world. We know that the earth's a ball. There's just some things that are fundamentally true. And then seeing that map, it made me really say, what the hell? And then I made a point to look at the map, and I said, okay, wait a second. There would be no north-south circumnavigation. This, the azimuthal equidistant map, I said, let me look that up. Let me find out who's gone north-south, because that'll prove this wrong and prove the ball to be true. And I looked into it, and there was like nobody. I could find like one story that seemed a little bit vague. And then right at that time, which would have been about December, I found some guy that was, his name ZQ Pilot. You can still look it up. That he was supposed to break the record flying around the world, going across both North and South Pole. So I was really interested in this flight, and they had this thing called spider tracks attached to the plane that you could track it online. So I was like, this is sweet. I'll get to watch this guy fly around the earth. And he basically got to South America, then flew to the South Pole. He was supposed to go across all the way to New Zealand, but he stopped and turned around and came back to Brazil. I was like, what the hell's going on here? And then he got back, and they talked to him, and he said, oh, there's bad weather. And then he flew to New Zealand from Brazil and then up to the North Pole, and they gave him the record. And I mean, that was, one of the big kickers for me. I said, unbelievable. I said, this is ridiculous. I'm going to keep yelling this. And my wife said, why don't you make videos? And I said, I don't feel comfortable. I've never been comfortable on camera. Just, it's not my thing. And so I said, no, I don't really feel like it. And I don't want to be made fun of. And I don't want to, I said, maybe we're just crazy. Maybe we're just, we're not thinking right. But I remember going to my mom's house for Thanksgiving, which would have been, the month before that. And us both being like really weird at dinner, just like, we're flat earthers, and these people don't even know we think the earth's flat. And then,
right.
It was like January and February. I remember me constantly looking on YouTube, hoping that there'd be other things about it. And I remember looking at Vimeo, and I was just looking at all these different places trying to find something. I remember somebody did have one on Vimeo that was pretty old, and there was a couple people who had some other YouTube videos, but there was like 10. I mean, there's like none. And then one day I searched Flat Earth, and it said Flat Earth Clues, 1 through 5 or 1 through 4 or something. And I remember my wife sitting on the bed behind me. I was like, check this out. Somebody wrote Flat Earth Clues, and we sat in bed and like binge watched those first 4. And then we're like, is he going to have more? And at that point I knew that I could make videos, because the way that he did it was just different. It was like pictures, images, his voice, kind of telling a story. I thought I could add some humor. And so when I hear people say it's a plant, I know that it can't be, because otherwise They somehow got me to want to make videos about it. They somehow got me to see the AE map, and I just don't think that's true. So I can see how people think that, but I don't think that that's the case. And I've heard some people talking about why does the media bring this up, right? If it's such a big deception, why don't they shut you down? People will say, or why does the media talk about it? If it's true, then the media would just sweep it away. Even Jake in his video was saying the same thing. He was saying, there's no way this would come out like it is. The media is actually covering it. But what I think he doesn't understand, what people don't understand, is that there's some things that are hot topics, right, that the media probably doesn't have allowed to talk about, or if they're going to do a story on it, they got to run it through upper management. And the flat earth is not one of those. The flat earth is absurd. It is a ridiculous belief. It is nonsense. It has been known for thousands of years. So when they hear somebody talking about flat earth, they don't think they need to get permission to do that story. It just comes out. It's just like Kyrie Irving, right? Who, I don't know if you saw, he's in the news again today. But Kyrie, when he came out, it was just at All-Star Weekend. It wasn't like they had an option to cover it or not cover it. He spoke at on a podcast and then started bringing it up at All-Star Weekend, where you've got all these reporters. And so they just reported on it. And I haven't seen anything yet that's like a forced reporting. People are reporting on it. Like, we all know that the news and the media is controlled, and it's for the most part a fabrication, but they also report real stories. I mean, if you go to your local grocery store and burn it down, it'll be on the news. I mean, it's not, they're not going to lie about that, but they do script narratives, and they do all tend to tell the same stories if they're basically pushed down or propaganda from above. But they're going to actually report on things that need to be reported on, and they think that that's funny. It's that somebody thinks the earth is flat. It's hilarious. So that's why the media has let this go, has talked about it. And imagine if you're somebody keeping this secret, it would probably look pretty obvious if you came down and said, hey, don't do any stories on flat earth. That's going to make the people you tell that say, like, why? What do you mean? Why would we not do that story? Oh, just weird. We just don't want you doing it. So I think they don't want to let anybody even have any idea that this could possibly be true. And that's why they've taught us when we were 6 years old. That's why they put the globe in every classroom, because they didn't want it to ever be a question. Because if you start questioning it, which is what I think our strength is, get people to question the ball. It's something we didn't have the ability to do growing up. You didn't have an option to come out of 6th grade and be a non-globe earther. You believed in the globe coming out of 6th grade. Everybody did.
Right.
So I think that's their strength. And the more we bring it up, the more it gets talked about, the more I think those guys are sweating, because they don't want people thinking about it.
Oh, absolutely. I want to give a shout out to Renee. I don't want to butcher your name. Ibra Lucia. Looks like I really appreciate the donation. Let's hop in the chat real quick. I just want to say, thanks for everybody. Good Lord. Looks like we got about 445 people showed up. This is
nice.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, Jaron, how do I slow down the chat? Where do we go from here?
Oh, what is that, dirt? If I don't know if you can do it once you start. Actually, I think you can. If you have to go to your back room. What is it called? Creator Studio.
Yeah.
And then go to this video, and then in the additional options on the far right, I think you can put on slow chat, and I usually put it on like 45 or 60. I'm trying to get isn't that David Weiss who's spamming the chat?
Yeah, I think so. Right. I'm like, Dave, geez.
Rather than slow down the chat, we just need to tell David to stop doing that.
Right. That might help. Let me see. Stream options.
Wait, am I in the wrong? Hold on, now I'm confused. Show is at this link.
Right. I'm like, wait a minute.
Hold on, now I'm confused.
Yeah, he's throwing me off with that. Dave, what's going on here?
Did you start on a different link or something? I don't know. Well, this is working.
No.
Well, I see the link that you sent me that was supposed to have the show on it. There's no show on it.
There's no. Did I cut it off? No.
I just see the blue saying. Try it again.
Maybe I had 2 streams. Somebody's saying I had 2 streams going on. I'm pretty talented.
Yeah, this one here.
What?
He's spamming. He said, "Yeah, you had 2 streams running." So he's spamming the chat, telling people to go to the actual link, I guess.
Okay.
Now I get it. Thanks, David.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. Still rookie out here. Good
Let me
Lord,
bring
there's
up.
four.
Yeah, and I'd love to do it on my channel, but if I got in trouble for bullying, you can't nonsense because you get in trouble.
Really? Is that what happened?
Yeah, and I don't know anybody else that's had that happen. I actually got shut down in the middle of a live stream. And I mean, you can ask anybody that was watching it. I was not being rude, bullying, calling people names. I was just pointing out NASA fakery. And then all of a sudden this red box came up on my screen and said, and we reviewed it and agree that it's bullying. And so I haven't been able to live stream since then.
That's craziness.
Jerks.
Yeah, I know, right? Let me see. There's one video I got one of the yellow flags on. And it was just the one where I was in the back of the van, kind of talking about it was the follow-up to the BOB situation. We can talk about BOB a little bit here, a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was a follow-up to that, and I'm not sure exactly why I got the yellow flag on there. I don't think I used any.
What do you mean by yellow flag? I don't even know what you're talking about. Yellow flag.
It was like a yellow. They'll give you a yellow flag, and that pretty much makes that video ineligible for monetization. And
I get that every video.
Yeah. I'm like, they threw one of those at me. I'm like, I didn't curse. I didn't use any clips from anybody else. I'm like, what happened? But it's all good. I can't be too mad at it. We have to expect opposition to show up if we're gonna, do this thing as far as trying to expose the bad guys out here.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to say what's up
to
Paul on the plane. I see him out there. Paul, I would love to do a show with you. Did you see the video that he mirrored today? And I can't remember the name of the person that put it out for a testing idea. Don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't get a chance to see it yet.
Yeah, they did somebody had an idea to use the accelerometer that Rannick did a video about, and who else? A bunch of people. I did a video about it. Now I lost our Hangout. I got to get back here somehow because I just see the feed and it's way late. What happened to that Hangout screen? That's weird. Yeah, it's way behind. I still see you talking. That's weird. What happened? Anyway, the accelerometer, which a lot of people had conversations about whether or not we could tell if the Earth was curved with the accelerometer, and of course, Globers say no, it can recognize gravity and that kind of nonsense. But this idea is, the flights that take those weird turns, like instead of going from, Cape Town to Argentina or something like that, it'll head up and hit Dubai and then make a turn. Oh, I was thinking about, okay. Yeah. And what she was thinking of doing is to really tell how much the plane is turning, because when you put that on an azimuthal equidistant map, it becomes a straight line. So if somebody were taking one of those flights, and it would only work if it was one of those connecting flights, they could just take the accelerometer with them, and you'd have to tape it down to like your tray table or some way to keep it in the same position. And also you have to film that camera or that, film that phone, because otherwise somebody could twist it with their hand left and right, and that would register as turns. But I think that would be a good way to tell. It's one of the best ways I've heard. So yeah, check out Paul on the Plane. I think had it. I can't remember who else. So good stuff.
Definitely. And that's another thing. Some people have talked to me about. I did the whole spirit level thing, and people were saying, "Hey, why didn't you film the spirit level on the tray table on the takeoff and landing?" I'm like, well, actually, if you don't really fly much, do you? I want to say, but we have to resist the urge to get snippy with people.
Right.
I was I'm like, so what they do when you get on the plane, they'll tell you, keep your seat back and tray tables in their upright position. So I mean, at some point I'm gonna have to sneak on, while I'm chewing some bubble gum or something, and then put the gum on the tray table and put the spirit level on it, and then film it and make sure the flight attendant is watching me, I guess.
Yeah.
And then maybe just maybe they'll figure out that the plane actually does just go straight up, level off at a certain altitude, and then just land at another point on this vast flat plane. But
exactly.
Yeah,
I heard something crazy today. Somebody sent me on my ask.fm page. They said, have you seen this video? And they showed a Wolfie 6020 video, and it took me back. So he said today that planes, he's a pilot, and he said that planes never have to descend to stay with the curvature of the earth. So I've heard him say that before. Then he said the reason why is because the plane remains the same distance from the center of the earth on the ball. So it's never going down. He said in order to come down, it would have to get closer to the center. So I started thinking about that, and I'm like, man, that opens up a whole new can of worms, because what that means is there should be no curvature to the earth at all. Meaning if I'm walking around the earth, well, I'm never getting closer to the center. So it should be the same as the plane. If the plane doesn't drop down, then when I walk around the earth, I don't drop down. So that calls into question, where did they get the 8.5 miles or the 8 inches per mile squared? If he's claiming that the only way you can measure down is getting closer to the center of the earth. Well, we don't get closer to the center. So on a ball. So that just calls into question everything. Then that means that I just have never heard it described that way. I'm like, how could you say that? Then there is no drop to the earth. And the crazy thing is the way you know that that's not the case is because there's somebody upside down from you. So if there's somebody upside down from you, then how is there's no drop? So there has to be a drop, which would mean you have to go down, which means his theory about the planes are wrong. So I think that was a mistake on his part to say that, because I think we'll be able to show them why that could not possibly be true. And he's a guy who thinks he's generally pretty right. So it should be interesting. I never heard that said that way before. But when he said it, I'm thinking, I'm like, man, that means that there's never a drop then, because you're always technically the same distance away from the center. It's all just words. I mean, it's just all they do is they just fool us with words, and everything is, the fact that they say the water's level, the beach in Australia is level with the beach in Santa Cruz, California. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. That's metaphysical. It's not reality. It's not level. It is level in reality, but it's not the way they were describing it.
Right. And it's cute because, they like to throw these things out there just to, try to fit this whole globe earth deception. Yep. But man, I mean, it's like that has no place in reality as far as that goes. Well, I mean, you're always going the center of gravity is always pulling towards, the core, because we've actually been to the Earth's core,
Right.
So I'm like, come on, man, get out of here with that. But I mean, and they say these things with a straight face. That's the cute thing about it,
Yeah, it's like and you're an idiot if you don't believe it. When it's like with stuff pulling to the center, I still can't get over that one. I'm like, there's nothing, no evidence, no experiment that shows anything pulling to the center of anything. Yet we're told that that's the way everything works. That every planet in the sky, every the moon, everything pulls to the center. But it's like, okay, show me an example. You should be able to show me that. They can't show it. I've heard people try and say, well, what about bubbles of water in the ISS? It's like, no, that's because they're squeezing it out as a straw. Go take a cup and dump it out. Take my cup and dump this out in the ISS and tell me if it makes a ball. I promise you, it'll just make a big mess.
Right. It always goes right back to, well, a drop of water. I mean, right. Just look, a guy called me at the laundromat last night because, I got the writing on the side of my van and all that.
Right.
So I'm at the laundromat yesterday. I go out there, I, throw my clothes in the wash. I come back to the van, chill for a little bit, go back in, get my clothes out. I'm ready to go. He's like, come here, young man. He's like, so let me talk to you for a minute. Yes, sir. He's older gentleman. He's like, so tell you what, if I take a straw, like you said, he said verbatim, if I take a straw and then I just drop that thing out there, what happens if I drop that one drop? What shape does it take? A curve, right? I'm like, well, yeah, one drop, but if you add like, I don't know, 20,000 more drops, what happens, sir? Just try to be respectful, but I'm like, come on, man. We all know what happens. Lays flat, you know that. But it's all good. Just a second. Let's hop back in. Oh my God, there's 500. Jaren, there's 506 people watching. Right.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We just thought of this 2 hours ago.
I don't know, right? Good Lord. I'm like, how long we been doing this?
We should do a show. You want to do one in 2 hours? All right, go.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I heard you're going to be at the conference, right?
I am going to be at the conference, actually. I'll be, what do they call it? The keynote speaker. First guy to hit the stage after the intro.
Yeah, I heard you're right before me. So I know I've got an hour speech. I don't know what time it is. 10:30 maybe. I think you're maybe 9:30 or something like that.
Okay, yeah. So 9:30, everybody. Be sure to plug in FEIC2017.com. Get your live stream pass. That'll be $27 online. I'll be the first speaker. I believe. I thought it was 27, right?
Well worth it.
oh, no doubt. I'll be. Robbie told me to just kind of speak from the heart, tell my story, and just kind of get everybody at ease. I can.
For me,
I'm all day.
Thrilled about it. I wouldn't miss it for the world because all these people that feel like friends, I've never met them. So I've met Matt Boyland, Dwayne Kellum. Came over and did a balloon launch. Other than that, I don't think anybody. And so, people like Bob, we've been doing Globebusters for 2 years now, and Morgile, and we've never met. So I'm stoked about that more than anything. I could honestly, I think I could care less about the speeches. It's more for me about just getting to see some faces. And in a weird way, I'm not putting any names to this, but I feel like I'm a good sense of character when I meet people, looking them into the eyes, actually having a conversation, shaking their hand. I think I can get a good feel for people. So a lot of people have asked me, what do you think of this person? What do you think of this person? I tell everybody, ask me after the conference. Let me meet some of these people. Let me have a conversation with them. Let me eat dinner with them. And I think I'll feel better about everybody. It's just right now, you don't know who these people are. They're just internet faces. And so I think getting to meet everybody will be a big difference for me. It'll be kind of bring it all home finally. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And that's one of those things that, I encourage people to like get to these meetups, but man, right. I haven't been promoting the conference properly because the conference, man, it's going to be like a huge meetup. And every time I go to these meetups, man, the energy's just out of control. It's always a bunch of smiling faces, great people, great vibe in the air, man.
And I haven't done one yet, and I know people want me to put one together, and I just haven't done it. I don't know how to really put it together, but I guess it's just name a place and we all meet there. So I'm going to do it as soon as we get back. I want to do one. We are going to do the test, at least as far as I know. If everything so far is panned out correctly, the test will be Sunday, about 2:00. We're all going to get there. It's at the Victoria Canal in Holt, California. So anybody who's in that area that wants to come by to meet me or to watch the test, as far as I know, everything's a go. We did see rain was forecast for Sunday, so we got a little bit nervous, and then we waited a day, and then it dropped off the weather report. So as of right now, we've got everything ready to go. So yeah, if anybody's in the that's kind of the Stockton, Sacramento area, Bay Area. You can email me, and if you put test in the subject, so I make sure I get it. If you have any questions about where it's going to be, but looking forward to that. It should be very interesting to see the results of that test. And we have a film crew coming out there that's going to film it. They're flying out, so they've been real keeping up with me about, are we still going to do this? Is this still on? So as of right now, we're ready to go. So I guess you can call that a meetup. But so you seem to enjoy those, huh? You think they're good to have?
Oh, I love the meetups, man. I love those things. If I could do one every weekend, I would. Hey, what part of California? You in Southern California? Where you at?
I guess you'd call it Central, by Monterey.
Okay.
It's a town called Salinas, which is if you've heard of it, it's probably because you're reading the top 10 worst places to live in the United States. I think it always ranks in the top 10. There's just a big gang presence here, and they always rank up real high in like murder rate. Every year it's like in the triple digits. But it's a nice place. I grew up in Gilroy, which is about a half hour from here. Then I moved to Monterey when I took over the store manager position there, which real nice town in Monterey, awesome. And then moved over here when I bought my house, and then moved to this house when I lost my house.
Okay,
there you go.
All right, awesome. Well, hey, I mean, if you do something in California on a weekend, let me know.
Okay.
Maybe a couple weeks out, and I might be able to.
Where are you at?
Man. I'm in Tacoma, Washington.
Okay, you're
That's not too far at all.
Yeah, my wife's brother goes to school in Seattle, so I know she goes up there occasionally. But yeah, I don't know much other people up there. That's like what 16-hour drive, isn't it? You would fly probably. I'm taking it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm flying, man. I'm flying. I'm definitely flying. No, I'm trying to keep the mileage low on the van, man. So,
right.
So yeah, man. So we got 509 watching, just having a good time.
Very nice.
Thanks everybody. Morningstar, Melissa, thank you. I really appreciate the support. Appreciate everybody dropping in, man. It's late. We had short notice as far as this one goes, and wow, thank you everybody. I really appreciate it.
So much. Appreciate everybody. The people are awesome. And one thing I don't say thank you for enough is, since I can't get to my comments, sometimes I get to those comments, and the people that go to bat for Flat Earth are awesome. I mean, and one thing I've noticed recently is if you go to any high altitude balloon footage, I mean, just go to YouTube and just type in space balloon or near space balloon, and then just go to the comments. It doesn't matter which video you get to, it is just flooded with flat earthers saying thanks a lot for this video. You're proving the Earth's. It's just awesome to see, because it's something that wasn't there when I started. I mean, you couldn't find any flat Earth comments at all. Now, any video that's a plane or anything, a drone, I mean, or any video that's a helium balloon, it just seems like it's just filled with flat earthers. It's so awesome. On my website, I've got a post that was a Zuckerman, and he did a live feed with the astronauts, and the first 150 comments are hilarious. They're all from flat earthers, all calling NASA out as being fake. I mean, I have the whole thing screenshotted because I just, one after another, boom, boom, boom. You're just reading and people saying, you guys aren't even up there. Come on, gigs up. It feels good to know finally people are seeing it. I know they would. If they do the research, they're going to see there's no proof of this shit. They're just, they're pretenders,
I know, yeah. And I love how easy it is to. It's getting really easy to actually spread this thing. And I'm telling you, I don't really even talk to people about flat Earth anymore, man. I'm just driving around in a flat Earth billboard, and
right.
I got off work today. I'm just driving up the freeway. This truck driver is next to me, beeps his horn. I look up over there. He's like, yeah, give me thumbs up. He's like, yeah, it's flat. I was like, okay, my man. I look over at another car. Like, soon as he pulls past, is this girl? She's taking a picture of the side of the thing. Dude, like everywhere I go, man, I'm telling you, it's like I'm just I'm throwing red pills while I'm sleeping, dude. Yep. It's awesome.
Yeah, more power to you.
Then I see people on Facebook decorating their vehicles. Just they'll go like they're more professional than I am. They actually go to the store and they'll buy the like stencil set. They'll buy the little sticker letters, and they'll put different things on their vehicles, and they'll just have it in the like on the back. And whether somebody likes it or not, you're gonna read the back of that vehicle if you're stuck in traffic. So and if
times I get the pictures of somebody who wrote Jeranism on the back of their car, I'm like, oh boy, don't do that.
right. They're like, it's him right there. I'm like, what?
That's awesome. Did you ever see the boat that somebody did with the Globebusters name on it? I mean, this is like 2.5 years ago, right when we started. Oh, I guess it was less than 2.5 years ago. But somebody like abandoned a boat in a Canadian shopping mall that said like Globebusters, the Earth is flat, but they put our name on it. Or like,
oh no.
They also put globebusters.com, which isn't even a website. So it was like, thanks a lot. Or it is a website, but it's for a motorcycle gang or something.
Right.
It's the thought that counts. But it was that was pretty cool to see. It was just like, wow. And it was like mainstream news that somebody had left this flat Earth boat in the middle of the parking lot.
Oh man, I want to see that. I want to see it all.
You searched flat Earth boat. I'll search around and see if that comes out. I'm sure it would. It would. I forgot what the name of the publication, but yeah, it's just a boat sitting in the middle. You have a big flat Earth boat.
That's awesome.
Nope, that's not what I thought. Hey, that brings up an interesting point, though. As I brought this up and I see these boats go, how funny is this? So it's been 3 years, right? Or a little less than that for flat Earth, and now there's so many videos showing that we can actually see boats way off in the distance, that they're not disappearing, going over the edge. So where are all the Globers video footage of boats going over the edge? There's no.
They just like to sweep these things under the carpet.
Sweep them right under. We're just not going to talk about that right now. Yep, they have the one Red's Rhetoric did with a white sailboat, and then the other one is the pirate ship, the big old ancient pirate ship that's going over the edge. Those are the only two videos I've seen. So I just think that's crazy. These guys love to say that they have all this evidence. So go out to a beach and film a boat going over the edge, and it doesn't exist because it doesn't happen. So they'd have to find the exact perfect conditions to where it kind of looks like it's going over the edge. But if you actually look at the footage and you break it down now, you'll easily prove that that's not what's happening. So that's why we don't see any of them on YouTube, is because they know that it'll get broken down to pieces and shown that that's not what's going on. So things like that are proof to me. You simply don't teach people that you see boats going over the edge, and then when you get pointed out that it's not what's happening, then they just sweep it under the rug. Let's not talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that right now. Just like I'm saying, and they talk about water does curve. Well, we got Lake Pontchartrain. Well, okay, so what about every other body of water? What are you talking about? And then that was like some camera trickery. That was debunked by someone also. I'm like, come on, guys, cut that out.
Yeah, it shouldn't be one place. I mean, it should be everywhere. I could understand if we found like one place you could see too far, and that was it. And that was all that we saw, and that was it. And we tried to use that as proof of the flat Earth. No, I wouldn't fly. The fact is that people don't even know to look. But if you go to any mountaintop, in fact, this guy Enrique, who's helping me out with this experiment, we met on Sunday, and a beautiful place. We got there and we're looking around, and he says that's Mount Diablo, I think is what it was. Mount Diablo, which was over on the hills. And he said from there you can see Mount Shasta, and then also the Sierra Nevadas. I'm like, what? That's ridiculous. I mean, that's 260 miles away. So, I mean, things like that, I just don't think people even think about what that means, that when you can see that far, it's simply impossible on a globe Earth. And those guys will love to make videos and say, oh, Jaren's talking about this 8,000 foot mountain and we only can see the top of it. Well, where's the rest of the mountain, Jeren? It's like, no, you don't understand. You're not supposed to see any of the mountain. It doesn't matter where the rest of it is. It doesn't matter.
Right. It's like they're not respecting the whole,
Nope.
What do you call that? The math, the curvature math, spherical trigonometry. Right. They're not even respecting the numbers that they put out there, because you'll sit here and say, I'll explain to a guy, but there was supposed to be 5 miles of curvature, and it was probably slight. No. Actually, I calculated this. A plane going that fast at that speed should have to compensate for 48 feet per minute, dude. So there should be like a constant downward, and they're like, nah, gravity.
Yeah.
All right, man. Whatever.
Explains everything. Explains the upside down ocean, which is held by gravity.
Dude, you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
I don't love it. But I do. I see what you see. I see people that are all they need is they needed that little push to it's okay to research this, and it's something that none of us were allowed before. 3 years ago, which is something you weren't even allowed to question. And the fact that questioning it turns people on it tells you there's something wrong with it. I mean, that alone, there's no way you should be teaching children something unless it's backed by the kind of evidence that means it's without a doubt absolutely positive. And they teach children something, and then when you go looking for the truth or for the evidence of it, you can't find it. And I just did an interview the other day. I was telling the guy that, at the beginning of the show, he started off by saying he's not a flat earther, but he's been looking into it and he finds a lot of merit with it. And then later he was asking me, what kind of things do I consider proof? And I said, well, you just said that you found a lot of merit with the flat earth. And I said, so tell me, why is it considered the dumbest possible belief there is? I said, if something's the dumbest thing you can believe and it's the worst thing you can call somebody as a flat earther, how in the world is it something that you just said there's a lot of compelling evidence for? That shouldn't be the case. If it's the dumbest thing there should be no evidence. There should be nothing compelling about it. It's the dumbest thing somebody can believe. So the fact that they didn't teach us anything about it in school, I mean, come on. They would have told us, hey, people used to think it was flat. We knew it was a ball. Here's the tests that prove it. Here's why it isn't flat. They, like you said, swept it right under the rug, went right over it, never talked about it. Said the earth isn't flat. We'd all fall off the edge. Let's move on. Next subject. So to me, those are all evidence. The way you teach people things is a huge indicator. And it's not like it came back up in high school. It's not like we talked about it in high school, why these things were facts. They just, it's assumed,
Right. And it's just ridiculous how that comes about, man. I mean, there are much worse things that you can be than a flat earther. Yeah. But the thing is, it's like people are there's a lot of closet flat earthers. That's the thing. You'll I mean, even myself, man, at one point, I came to the conclusion that the earth is flat, and I didn't really say it outside of the apartment until like 4 months in. And then even then I was in my car on the way to work and I like looked into the rearview mirror. I'm like, the earth is flat. kind of had to look around for a minute, like
yeah,
okay, I got it.
Yeah, I heard the story that how you became a flat earther, and I know that's your ex, right? Now it's your ex that you. Yeah. Is she still flat? Not. Yeah. Is she a flat earther? I mean.
Yeah. She keeps it flat for sure. Yeah. You don't go back to the ball.
That's what I wanted to ask. I didn't know if maybe like she was that devastated that you guys weren't together anymore. She said, "That's it. I believe in the globe again." Or something.
Oh no, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
Good. No, I don't know very many people that have gone back. It's just impossible. Once you see the lies, it's not even it's something I could. I mean, the amount of evidence that would have to be supplied for me to go back to believing all that, I just think it'd be too much. Even this test that we're doing Sunday, if it shows curvature, which I don't think it will, if it does, it's going to be tough for me because I'm going to say, man, this is evidence that the earth curves. I mean, I'm going to be out there all the time doing more and more tests and just really pushing it because I cannot imagine it being the case.
Right. And I like to stay on the the way I view the community is like kind of like a high school for the most part. You have different subjects, different teachers are going to teach on different levels. I'm like the 101, you know what I'm saying? I'm the orientation guy. I'm going to give you the common sense, ground level, easy to digest, easy to understand, simple comprehension type stuff, and let you go from there. And then they're going to come to your channel and they're going to get the super technical stuff with the graphics, the extra tests and all that. You're like running stuff through the computer. I'm like, all right, cool. They're going to go.
It's not technical. I've always enjoyed reading. So I enjoy research. And when you're finding things out that are not what you were taught, for some reason, that's exciting for me. Because it just feels like every corner is something new. And I honestly, I wish somebody could hang out with me and watch the research that I do because it's constant, something new that proves a flat earth, or you can see it now in that light and everything just fits. Everything makes sense. I mean, the thing that I encourage people to do is to go and look at the history of why we came to the beliefs we came to as a people, because going back to the ancient Greeks and understanding how they had a belief about things, you had to have evidence in real life for things to be believed. And then all of a sudden there was this new wave of thought that came along that said, well, if we can't see things, we can't test them, then we have to have these kind of thought processes that we still will be able to test, because even if we think like a theoretical physicist, right, which makes no sense to me, you're studying physics, which is the physical world, but you're a theoretical physicist, meaning you're just making theories about the physical world. Well, then they realized that by adding math to it, that they could make things provable with math. Well, the thing that people don't understand, and this is going to be the hardest thing for me to teach or convey, but there's so many systems that mathematically could work. It's not just the one that they've accepted. And that's something that will come out in time. And that's why I try and tell people when they try and argue with me and say, oh, but the earth isn't flat, you're an idiot. I can just say to them, just wait. Just wait. I mean, now this thing's going. There's no stopping it. And what's going to be uncovered is the fact that people like Einstein created a thought world. And he even said it as such, that that he would have to do it as an imagined thing. And that was the only way we'd ever get to the truth, because he said we can't go to space, so we've got to imagine what space is and how it works, because we can't go there. Well, now we can go there, and it just so happens that we go there and they confirm everything Einstein said, which is just not the case. And you can tell they're faking it, you know. And it's because science put themselves in that position by being so steadfast against religion, that religion was so wrong. And again, I've always said this before, you know, I guess you have to respect science a little bit, because religion wouldn't have been good to take over either. We don't want to live in a world today where the Catholic Church reigns supreme from the 1600s on. We don't want to live in that world. It would have been, you know, they dictated what books you were allowed to read. They dictated what books were allowed to be written, what you were allowed to talk about, so science did the right thing by stepping in and saying, no, we want to, you know, actually find the truth of where we live, and we don't think religion should have any say in that. So they stepped into that role and started discovering things. But the problem with that is that then they became the new church. They became the new religion. And it got to the point where if they said anything wrong, which I think they got the shape of the earth wrong, I think they got the idea of us going around the sun, they had no choice if they would have realized they were wrong. Their choices were to admit it, which was basically saying, oops, sorry, religion was right, we were wrong. And they would all look like fools, and they would have all been laughed out of the building. So they didn't have a choice. Their choices were to lie about it, or to, you know, indoctrinate people to believe it's the truth. And I think that that's what they've done. They didn't have another choice. It's just like NASA. I mean, if you're NASA, you have no choice but to continue lying, because the other option is to go away, to disappear, to have those 6,000, or I don't know how many people, 10,000 people lose jobs. So they just keep lying about it. And it's going to take us forcing them out for them to ever leave. It's just like science. No science changes in people's lifetimes. Like, you know, the science of Newton was the science of Newton's time, and then he died, and then years later, then people came and kind of replaced that, and then they died, and then Einstein came and kind of replaced that. So it's because always it's men in charge, men doing science. And so they're, you know, men are, they're not going to admit they're wrong. They're going to stay in their positions. They don't want to ever let anybody take over the power from them. And that's the problem with everything, is that it's human beings who are flawed in charge of science. And it will always be that way. I mean, science can never be in charge of itself. So we just need to, as a people, to recognize these guys are just men doing so-called science, but they're human like you and I. They're going to be fallible. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to hide their errors. They're going to fake results. They're going to cheat through systems. And I mean, it's because it happens everywhere. It's not just in science, but for some reason we were taught science in school as if it was otherworldly. Like, these guys didn't make mistakes, and anybody in a white coat, you know, goes by by peer review, and they would never fake anything. And there's always a rival scientist that's trying to beat that scientist. It's just all crap. It's just nonsense.
Yeah. Here, hold on. Hold on. We got trolls attacking now. This is interesting. We got the moderators handling business out there. I appreciate you, moderators.
You just got to get over it. It's like they can say all they want. It's so funny because I mean, can you imagine doing that on a night, just going to some Globe Earth channel and just sitting there and what kind of life do you have to do that? Imagine what kind of nonsense is going on in your head where that's what you've chosen to do with your night. I'm going to go to flat Earth channels and spam their chat. Those kind of people.
Oh no. I have to believe that these people are definitely being paid to do so. This is like what they do. They'll set up these sock accounts and they'll just, go, from chat to chat, different live streams.
I hope they're being paid.
I certainly hope so, because you got to have a sad life if that's what you choose to do with your time.
Yeah.
For an extended period of time, because from time to time, I'll just be bored, between assignments or whatever. And I might go to the NASA live stream, and I'll just go there, and I'm like, hey guys, come on, look. I'll go spam the NASA live stream real quick, and I'm like, hey, it's flat. This is bull crap. There's no curvature. That's a fisheye lens. I'll do that from time to time. I'm not gonna lie, but that's what this is about.
IPS stops scamming. Yeah, I'm sure you really care about other people. That person really cares. Like, that's what's hurting is, IPS took $5 from that other person. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Get over yourself.
I mean, seriously, it's wow. I don't know how these people are getting unblocked. Oh well, we got plenty of them coming through.
Well, anyway, with wrenches, looks like they're booting them.
I know, and I kind of got that from IPS. I don't have a problem with Tim. I think he's a good dude. He seems to be he seems to be legit and seriously wanting to get the word out about flat Earth, and he's just doing it in his own way. And
absolutely,
what we're trying to do, if anything, and it's not that we're like a cult, anything like that. We're just not all sitting around the fire singing Kumbaya. We're a community, but I say flat Earth family. I mean, because we're like a family. We all have our discussions, our arguments, our disagreements, and all that. But at the same time, we all have a common goal, and that's to spread the truth about this thing. So.
Yeah, I just want to be myself. I want to be able to do what I want to do. I want to be able to be myself. I don't want to be told you can do this, you can't do that. And yeah, with IPS, for the first like 2-3 months when he came into play, that guy got more done in 3 months than all of us did in a year before that. I mean, how do I say anything bad about that? I mean, the guy was working hard, and then I'll admit that he got hit by the same bug we all did, which was the troll bug, which is hard to shake. I don't know how many people you could ask. I mean, I've told so many people after being in this for 2 years, when I talk to them on Skype or whatever, like, I know it's impossible, but do not watch videos about you, because it took me a while to learn it, because it will break you down. It will bog you. It will cause you to change the way that you are. It'll cause you to want to retaliate. And then it just takes you off your game. And
dude, I don't even bother. Somebody will send me a link. Hey, this guy debunked this. Hey, these guys are talking stuff about you. Hey, this guy's calling you out for a debate. Right. And by the way, as far as debates, I mean, how do you feel about that? Personally, I'm not really here to debate.
Well, how brave are these guys that want to debate you? They get to go in with scientific fact that's what they're going to proclaim, and you have exactly, and you have to go against that. You don't have a chance. I mean, there's no from an onlooker's point of view, and I've done a couple of them, and I think I'm learning at getting better at them, because, and I'll give clues to anybody who's a flat earther. One thing you don't want to do not make claims. If you don't know, for instance, we don't know exactly what the sun's doing yet. We have an idea. A lot of us are working on it. A lot of us are trying different options and seeing, Steve Torrance, great people, are doing great work on it. But there's no use in coming out and releasing something really until it's perfect. So a lot of us are, we'll basically give an idea or thought process. Maybe it could be doing this, maybe it could be doing that. But if it's going to be a debate, the one thing you don't want to do is to make claims unless you can back it up. The people who are making claims are the globe believers. They've got a ton of claims because they say the sun is 93 million miles away. They say the Earth's a ball. They say that the planets are planets. They say that we're flying 66,000 miles per hour around the sun. So if you do get in a debate, remember to force it on the person making the claim. And you can say, I don't think the Earth's a ball. And I don't think that since you're just refuting what they're saying, then you ask for evidence. So, as far as the debate, though, all the time, these guys, it's like everybody wanted me to debate Red's rhetoric. And I told them, okay, I'll debate him if he shows his face and tells his real name, because I'm going in with my face and my real name, and I'm going up against science. So I figured the littlest thing you could do is just meet me there. And I don't think it's fair that somebody goes in. I mean, what if it gets proven in a year that the Earth is flat, and somebody like Red's rhetoric can just disappear? So he can come out and call me names, and he can shout and yell and scream about how right he is and how smart he is, and then he can just disappear. That's something I can't do. I can't. I'm saying the Earth is flat because I have conviction in my belief, and if I get proven wrong at any point, then I have to eat it, because people know who I am. I'm using my real name. This is my real face. I can't get away from it. But people who don't, to me, I have a little bit of a problem with that. Not so much of a problem. Like, if you choose you don't want to show your face and your name, by all means, I have no right to tell you that you should. But if you're going to demand a debate with me, or you're going to try and require me to do certain things, well, then I may require you to do the same thing, especially when you get the benefit of simply answering everything I say with science doesn't say that. Science says that's not true. Science says that's false. Like, no shit, Sherlock. Yeah, I know science says that's false.
Right. Dude, that sounds fair. That sounds fair. And that's one of those things. People, dude, they'll call us a shill. Somebody will call you shill, but they're using a fake name. They're using a fake profile picture. Don't have any content. And I'm like, from where I'm sitting, you look like a shill. You look like a troll. You look like an agent. Sorry. Right. Dude, you know me. You know my face. You know my name. I'm out here. You can see me. Right. You know right about where I live. I don't know jack about you. So you don't get to call me. You don't get to say I'm suspect, dude. I don't know anything about you, guy.
It's like that Flat Earth Reset guy that he's never made a Flat Earth video. There's no video he's ever done that is any kind of evidence. Or I'm like, dude, go look at my channel. I have 330 videos of me talking about Flat Earth. And you think you have a right to say, oh, this guy, he's paid opposition. He's in the pocket of Patricia. Shut up. What do you talk? How do you dare make a claim like that? Go watch my videos. You think I did that for fun? You think I'm being paid to make those videos? If you can't tell that's my real opinion, that those are my real thoughts, that's my real videos, when my wife and I sing little goofy parodies or I do little skits, that's just all me. There's nobody's paying me for shit, or I wouldn't live in this shithole. Number one.
Right.
It's such a joke. I can't stand it. And you're right. To me, it's like those people look like they're like, oh, these guys are just mudding the waters. It's like, who's mudding the waters? If somebody goes and searches Flat Earth, would you rather them find my 330 videos or your 50 videos of you calling everybody that's in the movement a shill? What do you think is hurting the movement more? It's like they're hurting the movement themselves more than the people they're calling out for doing nothing wrong. Just, oh, this person, oh, come on, you're an idiot. You don't see it. I can't stand those people. I just, they're a waste of space, and they don't realize it, or they're there on purpose. Like you said, they look like a shill to me.
Absolutely. We got a shout out to Ruhif. I'm not wearing my glasses. Sorry.
Ruhif?
Yeah. ROOHIF. He wants to know when the curvature test is happening.
Sunday.
And I
Sunday. DVD $5, VCRs $6.
Getting them out there. But wait, there's more.
Blu-ray players $20.
Oh man, this is good stuff. All right.
So
once again, I want to thank
brainwashing weak-minded people.
Yeah.
Because that makes a lot of sense, since I say in every one of my videos, do your own research. Don't trust me. That's definitely the way to brainwash people. It's to tell them to do their own research. Some of these people are they're laughable. They just are really laughable. And you know what it is? In my opinion, I think deep down inside, every single person on this earth knows it's flat. And it scares the living crud out of them. it scares them because either they badmouthed God, or they were a dick to people in their life, or they raped a girl, or they killed somebody. I don't know what it is. I don't have that problem, so maybe it was easier for me. But I think that everywhere you look, the earth is flat. At every point in your life, the earth is flat. Now, granted, we were taught something different, but I think this is what it's doing. Is it's these guys who are showing up, they're scared shitless because they don't want it to be flat. And they think we don't want it to be a globe. That's my favorite one. They're like, you don't want it to be a globe. It's like, what are you talking about? I don't want my whole life to be a lie. Right. I want what I was taught throughout school to be correct. It's not. That's why I'm doing this. It's not a matter of, I want the earth to be flat, so I'm going to go around and try and prove it flat. No, I don't want it to be flat. I want it to be what I was taught. And now I realize it's not. So what am I going to do? Just say, oh, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and believe what's not true. No, I got to speak out. I got to at least inform other people enough to where if they get a chance, they go research it. If they come to the conclusion that it's a ball, then that's on them. But I think it's unfair. I always say I'm doing it for my grandparents just because they were like the best people I ever knew. They were just good quality people. They were religious. They went to church every Sunday. I remember my grandpa standing at the door yelling at my grandma, like, I'm going to leave in 6 minutes. If you're not ready, I'm leaving.
Right.
But they were like good quality people. And I feel like they were lied to their whole life. They had no idea where they lived because somebody lied to them. So I feel like I want people to at least have a chance to question those things. And if they come to the conclusion after questioning it, then I feel like I've done my job. That's on them. But for me, no one ever gave me permission. No one ever told me, hey, research where you live. I just thought we lived on a ball. And so I just, if I had a dream, it would be to have a 10-minute conversation with everybody on Earth. And that's why I make videos, because it's kind of what I'm doing, having a 10-minute conversation with as many people as you can see it. I just want them to consider the fact that it is possible that, men have lied to us. They've lied to us in every other area of our lives. They will steal from you at every chance they get. So you better question this too.
True story. And I mean, that's where a lot of us are, man. And this is like a struggle to kind of shape the future for the most part. If you think about that, this is, I believe this is a worthy cause, honestly, because
last chance. To be honest,
because we're kind of heading in a kind of dark spot. You know what I'm saying? It's things are taking a rather dark turn, and I'm like, well, what are we gonna do about this? And there's a lot of things that need to be discussed. There's a lot of things that need to be uncovered, a lot of truths that need to be revealed. But most of the world is
I don't know if you know, man. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed this. Maybe I just noticed the one thing that kind of has me, I don't know, a little less than excited about that is when this started, it seemed like all the people that were flat earthers and the people that were finding it, the emails I was getting was like good people. And they were, I pictured this world. I said, yes, this is what we need. That the idea of the globe was causing people to be hateful, to be spiteful. And these flat earthers are like people who I want to hang around with. They're people that seem cool, that care about others. And then about a year ago, I'd say there started to be more and more flat earthers who are not much different than globers. I mean, they're wicked, they're backstabbing, they gossip, they are not truthful. They are, and that's one of the things that's upset me a little bit, because I really thought that the flat earth, the idea of it was going to bring the good out of people. And it has for a lot, but I don't know if you've noticed it, but there are some people that are flat earthers that are not much better than globers. I mean, they're really not. And that's kind of upsetting, because I really thought it was like, okay, people who are seeing the flat earth are good people. And for the most part, that's true. But I think, and I guess it's just the way it is, you're always going to have some bad apples. But that's kind of been upsetting, because I really thought that the idea of flat earth would bring the good out of people. And I think some people it's not doing that. And I don't know what that means, but I don't know. Do you see the same thing, or
I do. I really do. And I'm hoping that I don't know, more people will see it that way. It's just what happens, man, when we get into these conspiracies, let's call it that, when we start looking at alternative stories to that go against the mainstream narrative. So
Right.
what happens is we'll end up going down this rabbit hole, going from one thing to another, and the rabbit hole is like endless. And I mean, you get to a point to where it'll end up taking you to a dark place, man. You'll like hit some sort of emotional rock bottom, because you'll start to see things in a totally different way. You'll start to realize that the world is so much darker than you thought it was, and it can become depressing, and that takes a toll on people's attitude. It takes a toll on people's relationships and all that. So that's just it's just a byproduct, and sometimes we just have to be compassionate to a degree, and try to understand where people are. Just like this thing with Jake, I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that he's going through some personal issues, so I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm not gonna say anything else about him as far as the videos and all that goes. I mean, it seems like he's going through some things.
Yeah, and the thing is, I want to address his issues, and I just wish it was addressed in a different way, because I know that a lot of people have those issues, and I mean, people may not know, but Jake and I texted back as far back as 2 years ago, and have texted basically since then. And I remember him 5 months ago, asking me, "Hey, do you want to help me debunk Cool Hard Logic, this video?" And I said, I don't even watch that guy's videos. I said, I can't stand people who act like that, people who have that I'm better than you, call us conspiratards or flattards. I said, I'm not going to give the guy the time of day. And he said, okay, well, I'll just do it on my own then. And then he wrote back a couple days later and said, what is the refute to his issues with the sun? And I said, I haven't watched his videos. I'll watch it if you want me to. And I said, I don't know what his deal is. So I watched it, and that's something that I know Dr. Zach, myself, Steve, a bunch of us are working on the sun. We've always known that, for instance, you can't triangulate it. That's obvious that if you have two people can triangulate it and get a distance, but if you add a third person, then all of a sudden it doesn't work out, which is fine because the globe doesn't work either. They don't triangulate the sun on the globe either. So when I said, well, let me look at these problems. So when I watched the video and I saw what he was talking about, I said, okay, well, this is ridiculous. The guy is using a circle, going around, which we know there's an atmosphere. We know there's varying levels of the atmosphere. In fact, if you study the stratosphere, the highest part of the stratosphere is at the equator, which is kind of weird because a lot of people think of like a dome. And when I say dome, I don't mean like a snow globe, but I'm saying the atmosphere acts as a dome. And a lot of people would think that the highest part is above the North Pole. You've seen the azimuthal equidistant map, and you picture a dome going over the top. Well, in actuality, the highest part is the equator. And then it's almost like a dome with a hole in the middle of it. So that is very difficult to model because it's varying. It's always varying. It's not something that's as cut and dry as it's a dome. And so when you're here, you see here, you have to really kind of play with it. It's going to take time. So when Jake told me that, and he said, how do I refute the sun part? And I said, don't. We're not ready for that yet. I said, refute other things if you want, but I said, don't make a claim about what it's doing because we don't know yet. And that was the last I talked to him about it. He never said it again. And then he came out with his video and basically goes off and says it's wrong, and it's not wrong. I mean, it's going to take time to get it exactly what people want because they've had 200 years to craft a lie with the best mathematicians to explain it in a way. And they get to use things like, oh, the stars, they're 25 trillion miles away. Oh, the sun, yeah, well, we can't triangulate it because it's 93 million miles away. Oh, they just get to explain things away. Well, we don't get to do that. So we can't just say, oh, well, the sun, it covers more distance behind it than you think. Oh, when it's in the south, it just covers more land. We can't get away with saying that. And I could have told Jake that. I could have said, well, the way the atmosphere works, it covers more, the sun covers more in the south. I could have said that, but I don't want him to go make that claim because we don't have the kind of evidence or the kind of layout that's going to take to tell people that. So it just is, it's kind of frustrating because, I wish that we could go through some of the things. I mean, he's made so many claims that he laughs at now. I heard him laughing about the people at the ice wall. Let's go sing Kumbaya. Don't go to the ice wall. They'll shoot you. He may think that's real funny, but nobody's ever claimed like Cool Hard Logic does. That he says, let's calculate how many boats it would take to protect the wall. But that's the most ridiculous idea ever, as if there's not a way to patrol huge amounts of water, which you have to have a huge boat to go down there. You can't go down there in a sailboat. It's like huge, choppy southern waters. You have to deal with the sea ice. You have to have basically an ice cutting boat or a big cruise ship to go down there, or at least one of the big clippers like they used to have in the 1800s. And there's just a lot of people don't have those. So they know that there's not just people going down on a speedboat to go get to the ice wall and jump up there. And can you go there? Sure. I think you could go there. Will you probably never come back? I would think so. I mean, it's not like people think. You can't just go to Antarctica and just start walking around. It would be treacherous. These guys are taking backpacks with thousands of dollars worth of gear, thousands of dollars worth of food. I mean, you can't go to Burger King in Antarctica. People think they don't understand. They think, for him to say that is like he thinks, don't go to Antarctica, they'll shoot you. Then go there, dude. Go there and see what happens to you. Go ahead and try to just pull up to Antarctica. How are you going to get food? You know how to backpack all the food that you're going to need. You know how to have the compass. What do you do when you get to the South Pole? How do you know which way is north? They're all north. How do you know which way is west? They're all west. The compass stops working. So these things people aren't thinking about. It's not as easy as you think. I've read blogs by people that work down there, and they're not even allowed to go on a hike with, like, if they go on a hike, it has to be on one path. They have to go with 6 people. They have to inform the person at the death. And that's for the people that live there. It's like, you can't just go walk around. There's crevices. There's gaps that you could fall in. Now, people might say, well, you've never been there. How do you know that? Well, I've seen a lot of video, and that's what I'm assuming you would find. But it's a huge piece of land, even if it's at the bottom of the globe or if it's on the outstretch of the AE map. Any way that it is, it's a bunch of land that is frozen and probably pretty treacherous. So things like that, I wish he would just have talked to somebody. Another thing he said that bothered me, he says, where's all the credible people on our team? And then he says, we have these guys that are in the NBA and these guys that are in the NFL, and we've got a rapper B.O.B. And he goes, and that's it. And they're all controlled. They're all under the, so he says, so where's all the credible people? So my question would have been to him, who are you talking about? If you won't allow pro athletes because you say they're controlled, you won't allow a rapper because you say he's controlled. He's a shill. Who are you looking for? Who are you allowing to be considered credible? It's a completely ridiculous argument. You won't allow anybody. So it doesn't matter which rapper came forward. They could come forward tomorrow and you'd say they're compromised. And it doesn't matter which player. What do you want, a junior high backup quarterback? Who is going to come forward that you're going to consider credible? Because you've already said, so this guy works for the NFL. This guy works for the NBA. They're not credible. Then who do you want? I mean, you're not going to get a mainstream scientist because they're going to throw their career away. We're lucky we got the people we did. And if you think these guys if you think Kyrie Irving is making shit up, then you're just not doing any research. You're not understanding. You're not listening to the things the guy says. Today, he was on an interview and he told them, they asked him about his flat earth belief. And he said, yeah, we need to have the conversation because there's no pictures of Earth. If you think that that's a plant, you're out of your mind. That guy is saying that because he believes it. Just like B.O.B. People saying B.O.B. is a problem because, he's a rapper. He's he's rich and he's rich. He's a millionaire. The guy isn't signed to any label because he says he hasn't sold out. So, he could have sold out and been big. But he told them no. So he's got his own, no genre label. He works with a couple other guys. Can't think of their name right now. I saw him in concert. But he's not one of the mainstream guys. You don't see him on the BET awards or something. He's not going to be there. He's not part of that group. He's part of the guys that just make songs and release mixtapes. And look at the songs he's done. If you can read the lyrics to his songs and think the guy is controlled, then you can't do research. You shouldn't be researching. Anybody who says, and granted, I've talked to B.O.B., so maybe I feel differently that way, but the guy is real. I mean, if you have Snapchat, follow the guy on Snapchat and just watch him sitting on the couch. Granted, he's high as fuck, but sorry, excuse my language. Granted, he's high, but he's sitting there talking. He's real. It's his real beliefs. It's his real feelings. A lot of people don't know his dad was a preacher. You know, he came from a religious family. There's just a lot of things about the guy that are interesting, and he cares about the truth. And so, yeah, when Jake always had it on me. He told me from long ago, like, nah, dude, B.O.B., I can't believe you back that guy. You know, he's a plant. He's a shill. Like, dude, that guy has 4 million Twitter subscribers. And I said, whenever he just says flat earth, that's 4 million potential people looking on YouTube for what the hell is this guy talking about? And I want to be somebody they find. So
right.
If it's a plant, that's an idiotic move by whoever's planting a guy who has 4 million. If they didn't want this out, then they wouldn't put a plant like that. So it's kind of weird because I don't understand. And this is the thing. Jake just made a video where he made a bunch of statements and claims and said this and that, but none of them are thought out. You can't say that he's a plant, but then why is the media talking about this? Well, if they don't want it out, then why are they letting B.O.B. talk about it? If it's really the truth, if you really believe it's the truth, then you have to understand that nobody's planting that to come out. He thinks, and I guess, do you understand the whole idea of it's a plant, like a psyop? Does that make any sense to you?
I mean, no, absolutely not. Well, the thing is, I mean, it's with the rappers, it's with the athletes and all that. And the whole idea that these people are all controlled. They're all rappers. They're all plants. They're all shills. They're all agents. You know,
right.
Like, and you made a great point. A great point. If you can't accept that a few athletes said this, a couple rappers might have said this, Tila Tequila, we don't know Tila Tequila.
Right.
Whatever, man. Dude, I read through some of her tweets. She was going hard for flat earth, you know? And I was like, all right, whatever. It's exposure. Yep. And people will say, well, they're trying to make it look crazy. Well, you know, there's some people, you know, in the flat earth that, okay, well, look, here.
They do much work.
Let's look at it like this. Let's try to look at it like this. We're so worried about flat earth looking like what a bunch of brilliant scholars, but then let's look at, you know, a lot of the population that still believe that the earth is a globe.
Right.
Yeah, that's like everybody else. That's all the most terrible, you know, people that do the most terrible things, you know, and we're so worried about having a polished, pristine look about our whole community, you know, but we don't really take into account that, you know, everybody's not really perfect on the globe team either.
No.
You know, they still got a bunch of criminals and politicians. If I understand correctly, I think the state of the world right now is kind of messed up, and the people who have the world looking that way,
right?
They're globalists. Okay, they're terrible people. Right. So you're worried about a rapper making flat earth look bad, but at the same time, we got to look at the people on the globe side. There's some terrible people, you know, that believe that the earth is a spinning ball. So, you know, let's try to take that into account. We got to look at things like, you know, from both sides of this thing, you know.
They got nobody though, really, too. Who do they have? Neil deGrasse, Bill Nye, Lawrence Krauss. I mean, they've got nobody. And those guys they don't even know how to speak about the globe earth. I remember Joe Rogan talking to Neil deGrasse, and he says, so what is the curvature per mile? And Neil deGrasse said the gravity drop, and he said, oh no, the curvature. And he said, I don't know. I mean, that told me that, like, Neil deGrasse isn't a shill. He's not a plant. He's a believer. And that's what's most useful to these people. They don't want people who are lying, because a liar can make mistakes. A liar can have tells. Neil deGrasse, I think, still is somebody who just believes, and he knows that his position is to be there and believe and to speak about it. And he believes it. He loves it. He loves the globe. He loves his position. Could he be lying and know that the earth is flat? You know, and if he was, then I think he would have known the curvature per mile. You know, then that's something that I think somebody like that would know. But if you weren't, because those are things that you don't learn in school. If you become an astrophysicist, that's long back, man. You're reading books about quasars and you know, nebulas, and the idea of the earth being a ball is a foregone conclusion. And that's the people you want, because they're the people who think, flat earth, that's ridiculous. We know the earth's a ball. Right.
But of course.
It's like, Bill Nye is funny to watch. That guy almost loses his mind. He's like, come on, guys, come on. guys, come on, don't talk about this anymore, because it calls into question their entire life. It's just like Brian Cox, he can't take it.
Wait, did you see the short video with Bill Nye today? He's like, what are you talking about, flat earthers? Why don't you just go to the edge?
Yeah, he's losing
flat earth and take a picture. I'm like, I saw that clip. Somebody tagged me in there, and I'm just like,
yeah,
we're winning, man.
Oh yeah,
we're winning. When they roll that guy back out here just to get on camera so we can say, go take pictures of the edge. That's damage control, and they're trying to feed lines to the people that still want to hold on to their ball. Okay, sorry kids, the adults are coming to take your ball away. You got to deal with it.
Yeah,
you know,
gotta go.
So yeah, that's all that is, man. I saw that
he looked
quick video. Dude, he looked so irritated, and I was loving every second of it. I'm like, yeah, that's damage control. That's what that's called right there. So, you know, somebody tagged me in that. I left a comment in all caps. We are winning.
Yep.
We are winning this thing because they can't stop the spread of this information, because the way that this goes, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, man, you know, nobody goes back to believing in the globe. Nobody goes back, you know what, I don't really think the earth is flat anymore. No, you don't get upset and then go right back to believing that you're living on a spinning ball after actually doing some daggone research. That's why I don't bother. That's why I don't really debate anymore. You know what I mean? Because I'm here for the expansion. We're working on two different paradigms right now. Their globe team. Okay, we flat earthers, we're working in the paradigm of expansion. You guys are working on the paradigm of retention. You're still trying to hold people in this whole ideology that they're still living on this globe, trying to keep them in this heliocentric matrix. But nobody, once they break free of that, they already know that it's all bull. They already know it's flat, and they're not going back to that. That's the thing. So we're working on two different. It's awesome. It's awesome because we're going to win this thing. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game, man. And we got this.
That's what I mean, but it's no longer a question of if. To me, it is a when, and it kind of is a question of what are they going to do to throw at it at this point? Because I mean, some things killed them. Like you saw that sex junk video that Bill Nye did. I mean,
I saw that crap.
Right, and I mean, God. They don't realize what that did was that he killed his credibility to everyone, globe believers, you know, everybody. And so that's one of their faces, man. They need that guy. And he kind of put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And that's just great. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. Now this guy's going to be, and people think less of him. I saw all kinds of videos on the right side of the screen saying, you know, Bill Nye's a science cuck. And, you know, I mean, just things that make you go, yeah, we're going to win, because who else can they throw out? There's no recognizable science guy that's going to come along and save the day. And I saw, and again, this is an accusation. It's not, I have no idea if it's true, but I saw Neil deGrasse in the paper for being accused of rape. So I don't know if that's true.
I saw
but that's certainly not going to help them if that comes back at all to be anywhere near substantiated, because those are their faces. And if you don't have those guys, who do you have to come forward and speak on behalf of science? You're really running out of people. Lawrence Krauss, that guy's a joke to me. I've never heard somebody lie so much in my life. Richard Dawkins, you know, it's sad because my wife and I probably became atheists for, 3 or 6 months. And when you do, for some reason, you see those guys as smart. I remember watching Richard Dawkins, like, oh yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. And it really takes that, you need that kind of kick in the pants. And it was when I was looking into evolution and just went to Richard Dawkins and said, come on, dude, explain it to me. I know you have to be able to, and every time I watched him, like, it got worse and worse. Like, man, this guy is just making shit up. Sam Harris, I remember watching him for a couple months thinking, like, this guy's smart, man. Now I hear that guy and I think he's just a joke. And they all become jokes once you are on to the game. But I do recognize that people are still in that position where you see those guys as being smart or intelligent. And, oh, Richard Dawkins, he's refuting religion. Look at this guy. He's very smart. But I can't imagine how anybody can stay there for any amount of time. And I'm looking for those people that are looking for something else, because that's not the truth. I mean, evolution is one of the worst beliefs you can have, because it simply isn't backed by evidence. And if you try and, I mean, just think about plants. Let's not even talk about other things. How did a redwood tree come from a plant, a flower, a rose? They all came from, like, when did these things branch off? And I'm going to become a redwood tree, and I'm not going to give any fruit. I'll be an apple tree. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give my fruit. It's just the evolution altogether doesn't make any sense. And we came from trees. I mean, the whole thing is such a fantasy that, and I'm not saying I know how everything got here, but I'm certainly saying that shouldn't be taught in school as a fact. There's no evidence of it. And it's just, they're like, well, no, everything has the same genetic makeup. You have the same genetic makeup as a banana. Great. Probably because I have the same maker. Whoever learned how to make a banana learned how to make me. So yeah, I use the same things. Like, what does that mean? It doesn't mean I used to be a banana or I became, it's like, just ask those guys. It's like, there's no other animal on earth that can contemplate their birth and their death. Like, human beings are the only ones. Monkeys will not evolve to start thinking about their death and their afterlife. They're monkeys. Yep. Humans are humans. I don't think any animal will ever evolve to have a voice box. Humans have a voice box. There's other animals can communicate, but they can't talk and they won't learn how to talk. It's not like monkeys will learn how to talk. They can learn to do sign language. They're intelligent for monkeys, but I just think people have this, and then they love to tell you about billions of years, right? Oh, it's billions of years. You don't understand the time frame, but you're like, hold on. I thought you said everything was extinct 67 million years ago when the dinosaurs went extinct. So everything is just 67 million years old. It's not that old. I mean, granted it's old, but I mean, you're telling me I came from a hamster in 67 million years? 67 million years from now, hamsters are going to be flying jet planes around the earth? There's no way. It's just, right. It's all fantasy. It's just, there's no substance to it. And once you realize that about science, and then you start looking into every facet, you'll find that they set up these, it's almost like models. Because like, I thought for a while, like an electron. If I asked you, do electrons exist? Are they actual? Most people would say, well, yeah, obviously electrons exist. They use, an electron doesn't exist. There's no electron. It is a model of how they explain something, and they're able to use it to predict things because they say, well, it's got this charge and this charge, but there's no electron. It's like an atom, right? The smallest things are built up of is an atom. Okay. And inside the atom is whoa, hold on. I thought you said an atom is the smallest thing that there is. Now you're telling me something that's inside the atom. It's just all models. People don't. I remember my wife and I were talking about chromosomes, and we always have this thing now where if we start talking about something, we always stop each other like, wait, hold on a second. Do we know about this, or are we just repeating things we've heard? Because somebody will say, well, why does a person have Down syndrome? Oh, it's because they only have 45 chromosomes. They're supposed to have 46, that whole story. So we're like, well, hold on a second. What are chromosomes? Like, let's go look into this. Try and find a picture of a chromosome. There's not like chromosomes like you can see in a microscope. It's not like we've been taught. It's like they've been put into a computer program, and if I go put a rat's blood in this thing, it'll output a certain amount of chromosomes, but it's not like you can see it with a microscope. And in fact, you can just look up human chromosomes from like 1920 to 1950. They were wrong by like 3. So it's not like they were counting them with a microscope, or else you wouldn't be off by 3. It's not like 1, 2, 3, we just didn't count these 3 hiding behind the corner over here. It's just everything that we've been taught is not like we think. It's all a story. It's just, and I just tell people, look into it, everything, the timeline. I think history is a complete and total joke. Human population, I think, is a joke. I have my own beliefs, and I'm sure people don't agree with me, but about how long humans have been here, I think that what they tell us is a complete lie. I think the age of different structures is a lie. I just think there's so much more to investigate and learn, or you can just believe what you're told. But all you got to do is just start researching, and you'll see even the people who study that stuff don't agree on things. I mean, books, go look into books, look into the oldest book you can find, and look into writings by Aristotle, and then look into all the writings by Aristotle that actual people who study that stuff don't believe he wrote. And then look at all the forgeries that were all written in the 1600s that they say, oh, this was Aristotle. No, it wasn't. It's been proven that he's talking about people that weren't alive till the year 400. It's all fabrication. They've been lying to us for thousands of years, and it's time they stop, man. It's just makes me sick that I don't know what we were taught, but it's all wrong. I mean, there's really nothing that's true.
Man, we're on this thing. This is what we do. This is our mission to go ahead and tear down the deception, man. And I look at the whole quantum reality, the atoms and molecules and all that. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but again, I'll take it right back to the common sense approach as far as evolution goes. And I just put a post up on my Facebook last week. They say that Earth, the whole universe exploded out of nothingness, and the Earth was ablaze, and then it cooled after a while, and then there was some primordial ooze, and then these fish-like creatures crawled out of there. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute, you're saying that fish hopped out of the water and then evolved? I'm like, and what I put there, I'm like, evolution teaches that fish evolved into creatures that can suddenly breathe oxygen and all that. And I said, that's odd, because every time I've pulled a fish out of water, its evolutionary process stopped almost immediately.
Right.
Like, because I used to go fishing with my pops all the time, man. I'll pull a fish out of there, that thing's done, So come on, man, cut that out. Just a
great one. Because giraffes, people think that's evolution, and it's like, so wait, their necks grew because they needed to get to the higher leaves on the trees? They're like, yeah. You're like, so what do you mean? Like one giraffe was just a little bit short of getting the leaf, so he's like, well, I'm not going to be able to eat that, but I guess my kids will be born with a longer neck so it can reach that. It's just ridiculous. Giraffes were born as giraffes. They have long necks for whatever reason. They were given long necks, but they didn't have like short necks, and then they needed to get taller necks, or that'd be like the equivalent of humans. I can't reach the top shelf over here, so my son's going to be born and he'll have a longer arm because I couldn't get to the top. I couldn't just grab a freaking stool and climb up there, I guess. It's just ridiculous. It's like, it's just so funny what people think. And it's all because and I say that, I always have to correct myself because I believed it. So when I say it's like, oh, it's hilarious, it's so ridiculous, I believed it too, because they teach it in a way that you're not supposed to question it. It's just every scientist believes in evolution. You're like, oh, it must be true because all these scientists believe it. Then you find out if you don't believe it, then you're not a scientist. So then it makes sense why you're like, oh, well, of course, you have to believe in evolution to be a scientist. So, of course, all scientists believe in evolution. That's ridiculous. It'd be like people saying, all Catholics believe that Jesus is the Son of God. You're like, oh, well, then it must be true. Well, no, it just means that all Catholics, that's their belief, just like scientists all believe in evolution. So shouldn't surprise us that all scientists believe in evolution, because you have to be one, or you have to believe in evolution to be one. I don't know. It's just crazy what you think or what you perceive, and then what you find out that is just so different. The way they teach, I always talk about that Neil deGrasse commercial where he says, you don't understand the way science works. He says, I have a hypothesis. I do an experiment. He says, a rival scientist, he thinks I'm wrong, so he conducts the same experiment. You're like, time out, dude. If somebody does an experiment for evolution, who is the rival scientist that doesn't agree and wants to prove him wrong? There is none. You do a test for evolution, and every scientist is going to be like, cool, you did a great test. All right, put it in the truth book. And then we move on with life. He describes it as if there's somebody out there that's going to be like, no, I'm going to prove this guy wrong about evolution. Well, no, you're not, because you believe in it. Everybody believes in it. So it's just a setup to make you think that these guys are actually going through peer review, that people are actually looking at papers closely. They always say, Jeremy, why don't you submit a paper? It's like, yeah, because I'm going to submit a paper calling the earth flat, and 400 guys who have put their entire lives behind scientific understanding are really going to review my paper and go, nope, this guy's right. Our lives are a lie. Let's go ahead and pass this through. No way. They're going to laugh at me, kick me out. It's obvious, and people just need to see that.
All right, just a second. I'm trying to slow down the chat.
Because we got more trolls.
Yeah, they're on the attack tonight. It's awesome. That's okay. The moderators are taking care of business, man. So I got the slow chat on. So, all right, Ace, you got it. I hope that works. Gee. All right, so yeah, slow mode's on. Okay, back in the house.
Good.
All
And if
right.
anybody's got any questions or anything too, I'm open for questions or whatever.
Yeah, let's check the chat. Let me see. Hey, so I tried to turn on slow mode, man. I went to the advanced settings and all that. I could have swore I did that, man.
I think it takes
I could try it again.
seconds or something, maybe.
Does it take a little bit?
You have to embrace it. I agree. You're right, Adam.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
King TL.
I know that I'm honored. That's great. Everybody's all showing up so we can. Okay.
It looks so bad. I mean, I that's the way I feel. It just makes them look bad. I can't imagine there being any belief. It doesn't matter if somebody was saying, all males are females. I can't imagine going to that video and then just staying there and just slamming the chat like, no, I'm a male. I'm a male. I'm a male. I was taught I was a male, you idiots. It's just ridiculous. I can't imagine. There's nothing you could say that would make me go to your chat and just spam it. I just can't imagine it. I don't understand. If there's somebody talking about something I don't like or I don't agree with, I don't watch it. That's real difficult, isn't it? You just go to a different video. I've never sat there. It's like the people, I'll put out an hour video, and at the end of the video, somebody will just go off about how much they hated the entire thing. I'm like, why did you watch past minute 3? What were you doing? Like, I've never watched a video that I hated for like an hour. Like, I hated this entire hour of a video. It's like, that's my own fault. Why didn't I realize at minute 3 I hated it? Don't watch the whole.
Right.
I don't watch shit.
Dude, I'm serious. I mean, I get comments every now and then. I just wasted 30 minutes of this on.
Yes, you get those too, right?
I'm like, dude. So why did you choose to do that? I didn't. Nobody put a gun to your head and tell you the daggone.
Like my videos, in case you don't know this, they're not mandatory. There will be no test at the end of the week. If somebody has you strapped to a chair, you probably need to call the cops because it's not right. My videos are not mandatory. If you don't like them, you can even block me, and then you'll never even see another one of my videos ever. So that would be the best method. But no, people just lose their minds over it. You got any of the fun death threats yet? Those are always fun.
Oh yeah. I don't even want to get into those. My goodness.
No, pretty good.
Yeah.
Gosh, how you really feel? Okay, good for you.
I'm like, dang, man. Like, what did I do? What I do, man? What the heck?
And it's like, how bad is your globe belief if I just go out and say the globe's false, the Earth's flat, and people start believing it? Well, then you probably got a problem with your globe. It's not my problem.
Yeah,
you got to rethink your teaching strategy. It's like I love when Neil deGrasse and he always says, "Well, it's definitely a failure of our education system." You're like, yeah, you think? That's because you guys didn't teach it right.
Right.
So you're like, it's somebody else's fault. It's like, well, you're the scientist, so if it's the failure of the education system, then you can't teach science very well.
Right. Here, let me see now. I'm trying to. I gotta. Let me see now.
Flat Earth can't telescope. Have not heard yet. We love to hear DMARB or Jaron on it. Flat Earthers can't telescope? I don't know. I haven't seen that one, I don't think. I'll definitely have something to say about his video that he did today. I don't know if it was today. I just saw it today, but there's a video that says planes don't descend to go around the curvature of the Earth. I'm interested in that because I don't understand how you can have that belief. Then it means that there's no curvature of the Earth. I mean, because we say if I walk on the ball while I'm going down, that's why things are below me. So I don't know what that means. It's crazy. Somebody says they think you made it now, right, or something. Yeah, Flat Joe, I agree. We need a NorCal meetup. Sunday, if you want to come to Holt, Victoria Slough or Victoria Canal, we'll be there. I went there last Sunday. I met Enrique there, who's doing awesome. Really cool guy. He's been out there or helping me, and then he's also talked to the owners today, and he's just doing a lot of good work. So I appreciate him a lot. Helped you with slow mode. So what are you looking at? I can't see your screen. So
yeah, I'm like, do I have to share my screen? What's going on? No, I went to advanced settings and I got limit chat post to every 6 to 60 seconds per person. Okay. And it says it went through. And this is
at the bottom. It has like a save.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like everything went through.
Which boxes are checked?
Let me
At the
see.
top left.
Yeah, at the top left, I got the
On the
advanced settings.
Advanced settings. So the first one says what? Like allow.
Enable live chat, enable slow mode. I got that checked. Then it says limit chat post to 6 seconds, every 60 seconds per person. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's, I'd like to think that's it.
Yep. And then you just submit that.
Yeah. How we doing, everybody? Are we good? No? That one guy's still doing it? God bless America.
What, it's still not working? Well, that's working.
Is it? Because the one guy just threw out like 5 of them.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean endorse it? Announce it? Yeah.
Oh, wait. You know what? How about...
I don't know how they work. That's all. I don't know how we get food for everyone. Does everyone pay? I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So if you are going to be in charge of it, I'll tell people to go. I'll go if I can. Don't do it on Monday nights or Sunday afternoon. Only the best chats get trolled. I agree.
Fantastic. I love it. Hey, Bunny, how's it going?
Sunday. The test is not going to be live. We have a crew there. I mean, my wife might go live a couple times just to film it, but I'm not. I've gotten in trouble trying to do live stuff before because I need to focus on the experiment. So it's better to do that than to work on that. Equatorial mounts will not work if Earth is flat. These are real physical devices that are absolute and tangible proof that the Earth is not flat because they won't work on a flat Earth. So the equatorial mount of a telescope, here's what people don't get. And again, I have to explain this, that math does not make something a fact, because math is a human invention. It's not, a lot of people want to tell you it's intrinsic, but I mean, just think of double digits, right? So if everyone right now had their minds wiped and we had to start all over, we have no knowledge of anything, there's nothing that would tell us that 10 is a double digit. We could make the double digit 6 or 8 because you would just start collecting sticks. And if you were going to make markings to say, this is how many sticks I have, there's nothing. People say, oh, it's because our fingers make it 10. Well, maybe 5 would be double digit or 6. It's all human invention. Same thing with degrees in a circle. All those things are just human inventions. So I'll look into that about equatorial mounts, but I'm trying to think of an equatorial mount. How would it not work on a flat Earth? I'm confused what you mean. The sky is half of a circle, right? So if you just use an equatorial mount, isn't it just a pivoting arm doing half a circle? I don't know who that was saying that. I haven't seen Geostorm. No. The strongest telescopes you can buy are videos. Huh? Strongest telescope. Oh no. I don't know what that means. Dubé says there are accounts of people seeing Polaris in the south below the equator. Is there any evidence of this true? I don't know. That I've heard him make that claim before, but I don't know. Would someone please touch on the ridiculousness of the Goldilocks zone? It is ridiculous. That is, the fact that we have eclipses is ridiculous. I mean, the chances of happening to live on a planet where the moon perfectly is the same size as the sun is astronomical. It's just not even possible. Let alone living where we do, where any closer and we'd burn up and any further and we'd be freezing. It's just crazy. You're meant to be here for whatever reason. 600, come on, give me 603. Anyone 603? 603, can I hear 603? 604, can I do?
604, everybody. All right, so my thing is about the Goldilocks zone. I mean, seriously, I just try to consider, like you were saying a second ago. I said this in one of the videos that I did a while ago. I forget which one. How we're supposed to be in this perfect spot where, we're not so close to the sun that we burn, and we're not so far away that we're an ice planet. But my question was, okay, so the planets that were so much closer to the sun, that are between the Earth and the sun, why aren't they on fire? And why aren't the other planets, freaking ice balls? Like what's up with that? Because they're well over 93 million miles away from the sun. We're just in the perfect spot,
Right. We have the ground. We can say, like, what is a gas planet? Like, who cares? I mean, it's like, who cares about Jupiter? It's a gas planet. It's gas in the sky. Cool. I got really impressed. I mean,
yeah, a gas giant.
Great.
Gas giants, man. I'm like, what? Excuse me.
Wait, let me show you something funny. Let me see here if I can see if I can share my screen here. I'll show you something funny. Let me set this up though. If you don't have, somebody gifted it to me like 2 years ago. Oops. Let me see. It's called Universe Sandbox. And if I can get it to come up, I'll show you. It is the funniest way to debunk, and I know a lot of people love it because they love space. What happened here? Where'd it go? But Universe Sandbox is like a... Oh, what happened here? Okay. Are you still there? Did you boot me?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I didn't. No. I hope not. Oh, hold on. Let me see. I'm over here.
Let me saying
I may
something.
be lagging. What's up?
What are you trying to do?
Oh no! So I was trying to post a question in the back chat for you, because somebody wanted to know about advice, tips on someone giving their first public flat Earth talk.
Oh, interesting.
But I was gonna go ahead and give you the screen so you can.
I was gonna say I'll take the same advice that my speech on the conference.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. You know,
work. What's going on with this?
As far as giving the your tips on giving your first public flat Earth talk, just make sure you understand the concepts that you're going to be speaking about. Make sure you just have your notes together. If you already have the content down, you can just do what I do. In some of the times I'll have an index card, or I'll just have a dry erase board with some little words to kind of trigger what I'd like to talk about next. And and this is what I do with my videos some of the times. And I'll make notes. I'll have notes for myself, and I'll just be sitting in the van for like a half hour, just scribbling stuff on a dry erase board. And I like look at these things while I'm talking or whatever, and look off to review my notes just to have my points to try to come out clearly, because it's different just staring at a camera to get your points across and being able to interact with an audience. So you definitely want to have your content written down so you have some idea of the sequence that you'd like to discuss things. But that's what I give you. And here I'll say just try to relax. Try to relax.
I wonder if they have a certain amount of time, because that's always, I remember when I used to do store manager meetings, I always had like, an hour meeting or something, but I would always like write an outline of where I wanted to be at each 10-minute mark. It just allowed me to kind of keep order of myself, so you didn't get carried away on something. If I got to a place and I got there a minute or two early, then I could kind of expand on some things. But this way it just kind of keeps you in line. I think the worst thing you can do is like have an hour meeting and you get to the end and you forgot half of it, or you went too fast, so you got it to 30 minutes, then you got to make stuff up for 30 minutes. So I think like an hour, having like 6 points and having each one at 10 minutes kind of helps you a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. All right. I don't know. I'm thinking about winding this one down, man.
Sounds good.
We've been at it for about 2 hours straight, so want to let people get some sleep. I got to get up in the morning, do that other thing. I'm kind of like you. I got a full-time job, and then I'm making videos on the weekends and all that. So always trying to get back to people on messages and Twitter, Facebook, whatever. And it is what it is. Love everybody. I want to get back in touch with everybody as much as I can, but I'm sorry, I just can't do it. I just can't.
And I tell people, if you're looking to get a hold of me, you email me and I don't get back to you, email me again, because the way that I do my mail is I get there and read the newest stuff. So if you email me and I don't get back to you, it's probably because you emailed me and then I got to people above you and you got pushed down and more people emailed, and you'll just fall further down. So if it's important, email me again. If it's just a question, ask.fm/Jeranism. I have like 1,100 questions answered there. So it's actually a cool thing, because then people can, D-Marble, if you want to look into that, it's pretty cool, because then it saves all your answers. So I don't know how many people actually use it for that reason, but if somebody had a question for me, I hope they would go there first and search one of the 1,100 questions I've already answered, and they'll probably find the answer in there. It might save me a little bit of time, but if not, just email me or throw a rock at me. You'll get my attention.
Yeah, that's pretty much how you got to do me. I'm sorry, you got to like, just, dude. Sometimes I'll just respond to somebody. There'll be people who are like, dude, you know, I was trying to get in contact with you for a while, and every now and then somebody will just send me a message, and I'll just hit them back like, hey, what's up? And they're like, oh crap, it's you. I'm like, dude, I'm just a regular guy. Stop that. Just a regular guy. But you know,
the worst thing is I've had people who I've responded to, and I guess I don't realize it. Like I'll be in old emails or in Facebook, and then I've answered people over a year later. Can you imagine the embarrassment when they wrote back like, dude, I asked you that a year ago. Like, well, rather I just didn't answer at all because
I know, right?
Answered.
Like, I know.
A year ago. Like, well, my bad, dude. I won't email people back if they. I'm trying to be nice, and it's probably my fault because I didn't realize that it was a year later. So I answered as if they asked yesterday.
Right.
Reading like, hey, I asked that a year ago. It's like, oh yeah, okay, well, yeah, same answer. I still have the same answer.
Dude, it's rough. It's rough, and I'm saying, man, like I said, dude, I always want to get back to people, and I mean, seriously, the way that things happened, you know, it went from nothing to just out of nowhere. I can't get back to everybody, man. It's rough. It's rough. And I don't want anybody to feel like I'm blowing them off, but I'm like, dude, I would have to live on my phone and laptop all day, every day to get back to everybody. And that just can't happen. And I still got to do stuff like sleep, eat, you know, I still have a job, you know, personal relationships to take care of, things
no,
like
you're not allowed those. You're not allowed those. Nope. It's just,
no.
24/7.
No.
Whatever. Don't ask Bob like I did, because I said Bob. I said I'm not saying that I'm famous or anything. I know you get way more than I said, but I don't know how to handle it. How do you handle the amount of emails you get? Like, how do you choose who to? And he's like, don't respond to anybody. I'm like, no, dude, that's not really the answer I was looking for.
Oh no. Oh no.
Like, oh really? Like, can I respond to you? He's like, dude, if you respond to anybody, then they think that you'll respond all the time. So he's like, anybody you respond to, then they'll expect it, and then they'll get mad at you because you didn't respond back. So like, just don't respond to anybody. I'm like, dude, is there somewhere in the middle I can meet or something? That was his advice. So don't ask him.
Right. Okay, I won't ask. And I sit down and I think about this all the time. I'm like, dude, I don't want to just do. And I get people that'll get mad at me. Mad at me. Hey. I mean, I've been trying to get in contact with you. I'm like, dude, you're not the only one. You know,
I know, they don't get it. I get people who like I will see that they sent me, you know, my things separated by like conversations. So, well, basically I can click on an email and then it will list in the box on the right, like all their previous emails. So I click on somebody and then it'll be like their 10th email where they're saying like, you're just a pussy. You won't debate me. You won't answer any of my email. I'm like, dude, hold on. Like, I got to read through all this stuff first. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm like, bro, what are you talking about?
And there's some guy calling us liars, and then I find out that he's, you know, lying about who he is in his emails, and he's like calling us liars. I'm like, dude, these people, they just have no shame. They just they hating.
Right, dude. It's like a kind of disconnect from reality in some cases, but you know, you gotta love people. You gotta love people, and you gotta try to understand where they're at. You know,
yep.
And people will sit here and say, "Well, you know, I just feel like you're just so relatable. I feel like I know you." I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "But you don't know me like that, so you can't really get mad at me for not getting back to you because you don't know me like that. We don't know each other." You know, I do want to, you know, take everybody's opinion into consideration, and I don't want to blow anybody off for the 50th time.
Right.
Thank you to Gage, Frederick. I appreciate you for the donation. Melissa, really appreciate that. Jaron, you want to shout out your channel or shout out anybody? Give some recognition.
No, I shout out to everybody. There's always too many people. All my patrons have you know, helped me a ton, especially with you're lucky if you only got one video that's not monetized for or that content, whatever that thing is. That like all mine are. Anything that because a lot of mine are a little bit, I could see where they're not advertiser friendly. I'm not going to change, so it is what it is. But the patrons have really helped me. I think, my total is up to like 700. If Jake texted me today and said that he was responsible for having a bunch of people leave my Patreon. So that's what he cares about, I guess. That's what he's very happy that he got people to stop donating money to me. So I told him,
that is
good for you, dude. You're a winner, let me tell you. So I get like $700 right now, I think, a month, which is just so helpful because it's, that's my PG&E bill, that's my internet bill, and it's just more time I can spend doing videos. And it's how I dictate how much people want me to do it. If nobody was donating a penny, then I could only work on this stuff on my free time. But because I get a little bit extra, it really helps me. And who doesn't want to do something they love for a living? Everybody wants that, and I know very few people ever get to do that. So that's a dream. If I ever could do that, I would. But until then, I'm just doing it, filling my free time. So I appreciate everybody who donates anything, and appreciate it a lot. And check out my channel, share my videos. They'll always be free. I keep making that claim because still people have recruited me many times to go elsewhere and charge people for my content, and it's something I don't want to do and will not do. It's something I stood behind and will continue to stand behind. That my videos will always be free, and I hope people treat it like I don't know, you go to an open bar and you get a couple drinks, and sometimes you tip the bartender, and that's my hope, is that people appreciate what I'm doing and then tip me. And if not, then I'll live in a van with D Marble. So
yeah, it'll be cool. We'll be coming to a city near you.
There we go.
We're hitting the road, baby. It's gonna be awesome. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for show number 2, Talking FE with D, featuring Jeranism. Everybody have a good night. Hey, I'm just freestyling. I kind of like the sound of it.
I like it. Yeah, that's good. That sounds like you put some time and effort into it.
Dude, I freestyle that stuff all the time, man. I'm coming out with this thing
live.
It's gonna be I'm like talking FE with D. I like that.
I got to try and get a little hip for my mind's just Jeranism live.
Here, what I was wanting to do, I was wanting to do these videos where I would just randomly call somebody, because I put out one post on my Twitter and my Facebook or something like that, saying, because now I'm going to go on a little rant. Okay. What happens is, once we find out that the earth is flat, we end up alienating everybody for the most part. You come out and say it out in the open, and then people will kind of take off running in the opposite direction. So what happens is we kind of find ourselves isolated, and we don't have anybody else to talk to. And I was there, and as I go to these meetups, I talk to multiple people, and they're just like, blah, 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 blah. I've gotten phone numbers from people, and I would just randomly call somebody, and Jaren, I promise we will be on the phone for about 45 minutes, and I will be talking for like 3, and the thing is, it's like people don't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
So what I said on that meme was, inbox me your phone number. I'll remind you that you're not alone, pretty much. And I was like, hey, I want everybody to shoot this out, so your flat earth friends know that they have somebody to talk to. So you guys start exchanging phone numbers, so you have somebody to talk to. So because I don't want anybody to be isolated, because that happens.
That's good right there.
Right. So what I was wanting to do, I had put that message out, and I had gotten back like 15 phone numbers within like 20 minutes. So I was like, oh crap. So I ended up making phone calls like all like I'll call like 2 people a night for like the rest of that week. And I would get those phone calls where I would just be listening the whole time. So the thing I wanted to do was actually get these phone numbers, and I was just going to start calling people and recording the conversation. And I would like talk to them ahead of time. I would like turn on the camera, and I just have a conversation with somebody, and I was just going to call it Talking FE with D, and it would be like, this episode features this person, just
that's a good idea.
A quick 10-minute phone call, just showing that we're reaching out to people, because because people have this idea that we're like just faces on a screen, like we're real people, you know. But then somebody's like, oh my God, oh man, what's up, dude? I'm like, hey man, what's up? And did you have that from time to time? Somebody's like tripping that they talk to you, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, that happened to me a few times. Like the first few times, I was like, what is going on here? Somebody's actually happy to talk to me. Okay. And that's cool. But if you can like brighten up somebody's day by giving them a phone call, you know, I mean, that would be inspirational for other people to see. And I think that'd just be awesome. So, you know, and by that, I would want to be some sort of example to have other people do the same thing, because, you know, this is all about, we're a community, man. We're a family out here, baby. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if you remember this, but when Glowbusters first started, and it was just John and I, we used to do a drawing before the show, and then we'd have those people that won the drawing come on for like a panel discussion. It was awesome. We used to have, you know, 2 people would win, so it would be me and John, and then and Bob, and then these guys would get on the show, and then they would be like in awe, like, oh dude, it's so good to talk to you, it's so great to find, you know, it's just a weird feeling, but you're like, it was a very cool community building thing. And I still remember some of the people we talked to and where they lived. I remember we talked to a guy who lived in Alaska, got a lot of info from him, talked to a cop one time. I mean, it was cool. I think something like that would be really awesome. And I've talked to a few people like that, gave me their number, said, hey, I just want to talk to you for a little bit. And those guys, everybody's got something important to say. So recording it is a great idea. It's like I have a video with a 5 or 6 hour conversation with some guy from Australia who just wanted to talk to me and said he believes in the globe. And I think that was an awesome conversation, because I could tell he was a good person. Like, he wasn't going to chew me out, call me, you know, retarded or anything. So it was like, yeah, okay, I'll have the conversation with this guy. And he was cool. But I think that's a good idea. And getting other people to do it too is a good idea, because you're right, it is a community, and we do want people to feel, you know, I tell them I'm not any different than anybody else. I'm not any better. I just, the only reason I feel is because I have the opportunity to do it because I work from home. I feel like I've studied a lot, and besides that, you know, there's nothing different than everybody else. So I know there's a ton of people out there who have better info than I have, or who have researched something that I don't know, who could probably speak better, who could probably articulate better. So, you know, I would love to find out who those people are too, and get them a voice. I know it's hard to make videos. It may seem hard, but make a first one. Just make a channel, make a video, and then the second one is easier. And then I still have people say, you're a shill because your videos are well polished. I'm like, dude, go back and look at the first video I made. And I mean, it's just crap. And then you'll see, I mean, I watch them now. I'm like, oh my God, it's like a kindergartner made it. And you could just see as you watch my videos that you just get better, because it's like anything else. You learn, you get a little faster. So I just think more people need to make videos. And maybe the one advice is do something different. You know, I feel like now there's like a lot of people repeating the same kind of stuff, but there's so much opportunity for like what you just said. I would love to listen to somebody have flat earth conversations, or there's a missing element. Like, I don't know if you ever watched the John LeBon used to do the Ball Earth Skeptic show, where it was like 4 guys, a panel show, 4 guys talk. I mean, we don't have anything like that now. It's just weird. I mean, we have Glowbusters, but I'm talking, this was like a round table. I don't know. I just think there's so many opportunities for more people to join us, get the voice out, do it in a different way. I don't know. I just feel like there's so many opportunities for people to have channels. If you did balloon launches and did a Patreon where people donated, you could just do balloon launches and do one a month, and your channel would be paid for by people like me looking for balloon launches. And there's just so many opportunities out there. I think that we can grow this. Nobody's doing animation do a cartoon, do a flat earth cartoon. That I just think there's so many things that people could do. There's so much intelligent people out there. Like the flat earth, you like that flat earth man that came along and started doing those country songs? It's great.
Oh, dude, that dude's a genius, man.
Yeah, he's so good.
That dude's great.
So I think
he plays all his instruments too. He plays all that stuff.
He records it with an iPhone.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, I was watching that. I was watching that when you guys had him on the other day, man. I was like, good Lord. But he's like Australian, right? And he
doesn't talk like that at all.
No, I was like, what? Wait a minute.
me. He ruined it for me.
Right. You know
I
what I'm
want to see
saying?
the guy with his belt buckle and his, his beer and his Ford truck, and I guess that's not what he's.
Right. He's out here sounding like Johnny Cash in his songs, and then he talks like Hugh Jackman.
I thought it was a joke when I got on the call, and then Bob said, "Hey, here's what's up?" And then I heard him talking like, "Nah, really, who is that?"
Right.
That's really him. Like, wow, that's a shocker. But
because you expect him to get out and be talking like that,
right?
know?
Exactly. See, you can do it. I want to hear you do a country western song now.
Oh man, dude, I might. Oh, Jaron, hey man, I'm working on. Look here. Spoilers, people. Check this out. Everybody, bring it in. So I'm working on this. Spoken word, and I'm actually kind of collaborating with ODD on this. He's gonna hook me up with some visuals for this thing. I've been working on it for a while. Don't want to give away too much detail on it, but it's gonna be good, man. I've been working on this thing for a while. It's gonna be like just kind of hitting on just a whole bunch of different topics that the truth community looks into, and then towards the end I'll start talking about flat Earth.
Nice.
And it's an idea to kind of tie in everything, because it's kind of targeted towards the general conspiracy theorist that has looked into 9/11, Sandy Hook, Pizzagate, the bombings, the this and that, the Illuminati. I mean, all that. It like covers a whole bunch of stuff, but then it goes into like, so you know that everything that you've been told was a lie since birth, but you don't think that they would lie to you about the shape of the earth. You know what I mean? So that's like the last line. So don't want to give away too much. It's gonna be, dude. I think it'll be my first attempt at being extra creative like that.
Nice. Well, don't ask ODD about my one attempt. I talked to him. He's like, yeah, let's do a song together. So then he wrote his lyrics and sent me the beat, and I wrote for about a night, and then was like, dude, I suck. So I just wrote him back like, dude, I'm gonna do something else. I'm sure I suck at this.
Dude, I want ODD to hit me up, man. I was listening to that one song at the end of 21 Questions. Space may be the final frontier.
Oh, I like that song.
That one, dude. I was thinking about I was sitting there listening to that. I was like, I wonder if I could do a verse in that song, man. Maybe do a remix. That'd be dope. But I don't know. We'll talk about that.
I felt like out of all the songs I've heard him do, they were all great beats, and I could have wrote to him. Then the one he sent me, I'm like, fuck, I can't write to this beat. It probably would have been any song he sent me. I would have said the same thing. I just felt like, I could rap to any of these beats. And then he sent me one. I tried a couple times. Like, I can't do this one. So right. He hasn't asked me. He hasn't given me a second beat to do. I wonder why.
I gotta get with him, man. Maybe he'll hook me up. Maybe we can do a collab, man. Anybody want to see D Marble ODD collabo? That'd be dope. What do you think?
I'll check that out.
Yeah, man.
Send me the beat and ask me. I'll just deny it. I'll be like, nah, I can't do it. You guys got it.
Right. I think I could do it. I'd like to think I could do it, man. I could definitely do it. I think so. Anyway, I think I can.
I found this this a little sound clip of Richard Dawkins here. See if you can hear it.
Creative as God is, who made me. That's the difference between the ape and me.
Well, I'm an ape. I'm an African ape. Yeah. And I'm very proud to be an African ape.
Yeah.
And so should you be.
I love that clip. I'm very proud to be an ape. I'm very proud to be an African ape. Oh, are you? Good for you, Dawkins.
That's awesome.
Very proud of you.
Good Lord. All right, so yeah, we're with that, we're going to go ahead and close this one out.
On the 8th.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Jaron, appreciate you coming on, man. Looking forward to hooking up with you later. Great conversation, sir.
All right. Peace.
Oh yeah, at the conference, dude. I'll see you next week, man. Take care. All right, everybody. Be good to each other. Take care. Stay flat. I'll see you next time.